Greetings and salutations, and welcome to Flintlocks and Fireballs, where a handful of mad actors will attempt to survive the dark reaches of Dungeons and Dragons. I am your host and Dungeon Master Jason Phelps, and I am joined as ever by Robbie Woolly Mammoth Bellekom, Sam Woolly Rhinoceros Burns, and Ellie Woolly Jumpers Sparrow.
Yay! I actually have a woolly jumper, so it's thematically appropriate. It's a rainbow jumper. It's the best.
And I'm
jumper.
actually a woolly mammoth, so you know.
Oh my god! What a coincidence!
Sam, are you also cryptid megafauna?
Well, I do have a slightly large nose.
That's basically the same thing.
Yeah.
Yep.
Happy New Year! This will be coming weeks later after the New Year for you all.
Yeah.
But
Happy New Year anyway.
But Happy New Year anyway. The
Enjoy.
New Year has happened by the time you're listening to this.
Yes.
We recorded this on New Year's Day. Yay!
Whee!
For possibly more immediate news relating to present circumstances, although statistically the odds are not high, it's important for us to check in with Future Us and ask, Future Us, what messages from the present? It's Future Jason, and you know what? I've got nothing. Sing! Sing for my amusement!
Bum, 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 bum.
Future Jason again, and actually there is something. Next fortnight's episode will be a feature-length piece of bonus content in lieu of a usual episode, but it will check back in on some much beloved characters. So we'll see you then. Back to you, past us. And on that cheerful note, it's time to begin Flintlocks and Fireballs. Our land stands on the sabre's edge.
Our cities are a powder keg.
Brother chains brother, no one's free. A life on land is short, you'll see.
So gather your muskets, gather your spears, we'll plunder the shores of Calcinea. No kraken, storm or spell we fear, so come and sail with us, my dear.
Previously on Flintlocks and Fireballs, the party have, after a great many trials and tribulations, and possibly about 50 episodes, I'm not really sure,
It's
Close
dinner
on, I
time.
reached the final wing of the Cirrus Citadel.
Fucking great time we've had, Mr. DM.
Thank you.
It's been
Yes.
It
excellent.
has
This-
been really great.
Yeah, we've
Thanks
all
for the
loved it.
trauma.
I
I
can't.
loved it.
Yeah, I can't believe I thought this would be a 12-episode arc.
Well, one episode per room.
Yeah,
Have we
yeah.
ever
The original.
managed to get through a room in an episode?
Yeah, the original briefs for these were for every wing of the Cirrus Citadel was one sentence.
But we had
Wow.
fun. You had fun.
We did have fun.
We really
no
did have
regrets.
fun.
Seriously,
No
I'm glad that we
regrets.
spent this long in
It's
here.
like-
There was so much fun to be had.
I have a 1 to 3 sentence encounter stub written for every wing, and some of these I just went well off the original script.
Excellent.
Just so you know, the original conceit for The Mentalist had you answering riddles from sphinxes.
Oh, cool. Okay.
And
I'm pretty sure you said sphinxes, but
From
I'm
sphinxes.
Really glad it wasn't just me.
this is wow, imagine that encounter
Jesus.
in the
I'm
Mentalist
imagining it.
in
I am
the
imagining.
Mentalist's notional puzzle room.
Oh no, danger.
Like,
I'm in danger.
like, what do you add to this to a sphinx to turn it into a sphincter, or do you or do you risk taking the tur off the sphincter rather than being confronted by a sphinx? Oh, there are a lot of the sorcerers we've faced that would be really dangerous villains, and some less than others in future campaigns, but woe betide you have, like, you know, I know the Shaper of Will was a lot, but woe betide you ever crossed the Mentalist.
Yeah.
Previously, however, you made your way you arrived at the Cirrus Citadel for what was intended to be a 3-day jaunt, a no more than 3-day jaunt, probably.
How long's it been?
As I recall,
Time?
It had already been close to 5 days, at the point when you escaped the void, and then you made contact again with your loved ones, left the cat behind at the mansion.
I'm so sad. I miss her so much.
And
She'd have hated this.
And then stepped in to the Cirrus Citadel, went through the first gate and realised, the gates don't go backwards after the first one. So yes, it's now been some time, including allowing for an extra month for Scamp and Victory, and an extra 4 days for everyone in the time chamber. Probably the only location in this entire setting where I will allow that to exist.
What a lovely 4 days those were.
Oh, yes.
Restful, contemplative.
Calming.
Yep.
Not in any way harrowing whatsoever.
This is fine.
Yeah. And on top of that, a literally unknown amount of time under the influence of the Shaper of Will.
Which is very upsetting.
And there were a couple of other places where it just kind of got a bit hard to keep track of time, like while going through the Seers wing.
Yep.
So, yeah, you're going to come out and find out how many days have actually passed.
So worried. God.
So worried.
Including since you left. Oh boy, so there's been a number of time, a certain number of days have passed since you went to steal a mansion. It was very much planned to be a 3-hour tour.
Yep.
I've never watched Gilligan's Island. Now, the having passed through all of these many wings, including most recently the wing of the Lawbearer, you step through the golden archway lit with light suffuses your surroundings, and you find yourselves on a platform of apparently polished tiled marble. Behind you, the same golden gateway leading back into the underground cavern in the Lawbearer's wing that you just left. All around you is empty black void, apart from, in the distance, apparently bright enough that you are lit, that this platform is lit by it, and it's the only source of light, a distant gleaming light. It looks almost like a distant. It's weird seeing one on its own, out, with no atmosphere around you. But it reminds you of when the sun is setting and the first star in the bear shows up in the sky.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Though a little bigger and a little brighter, almost, in sort of feel.
Well, this is strange.
Yeah, what is that?
I mean, by comparison, this feels perfectly normal.
We've had weirder. I
Yeah.
suppose.
Yeah.
Shanti shrugs. Victory also shrugs. Yeah, I mean, search me. The ambivalent octopus shrugs. Eh.
Is there anything else? I'll just look around, just out of interest. Can I see or hear anything?
It is eerily silent, apart from... In fact, yeah, it is eerily silent, apart from your own rustling and movement. It's quiet enough that you can actually hear your own... Like, if you strain your ears, you can hear your own breathing.
Okay.
It's not... There's not echo, interestingly, exactly. Like it's the sound is a little odd. You can kind of almost sort of get that slight sense of reverberation as if you're in a room. From you would guess your voice bouncing off the floor, but as far as you can tell, as soon it just seems to vanish off into the void. There is something reminiscent of the time you spent going through the broken ways here.
Okay.
This platform, by the way, is about 10-foot radius, so like 20-foot diameter. It's comfortable. It's enough for you all to comfortably stand on, but yeah, you walk around it. Apart from the glow of the door, like light just coming in through the door from the cave, and the distant light of this pinpoint, that's it.
What does the floor feel like?
Reaching down and giving it a little touch, it feels like cold marble.
Right.
Cold, smooth, polished marble. It has lines in it where it's been where it appears to have been tiled.
Right, sturdy, unyielding.
Can I have a little lie on the floor and hang my head off the edge to have a look under the platform?
Yes, you can.
Good
So
idea.
you kneel down and you put your head over the edge. And can I please ask you for an immediate Constitution save?
Oh,
I will hold Celestia's legs.
Oh, you can hold Celestia's legs in a moment.
Okay.
You didn't think of that ahead of time.
Would anyone like to guess what I've just rolled?
Is it a 1?
No, it's a 2, which means it's a save, is it?
Yep.
3.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Fantastic.
Celestia, the moment you're
Bye.
as you kind of crane your head over, you feel like there's a moment where the top of your head feels like suddenly both cold and hot, but you don't pull back in time. You're already moving forwards a little bit, with a bit of momentum.
Shit.
And your head goes out over the edge. Now can I ask you for a dex save, please?
Dex save. That's an 18.
Okay.
I am better at dex.
Which means you are not pulled over the edge. So, in the brief moment before you grip the sides of the platform and pull yourself back in, you feel all the air in your lungs get sucked out.
Cool.
And you immediately begin suffocating. What's your Constitution score, by the way?
0.
Yeah. So you didn't. So I think if you'd flubbed that dex save, I believe that you would immediately pass out and start suffocating. But
Oh dear.
you do manage to pull yourself back in.
Cool.
So it's a horrible sensation.
So smart.
All of the air goes out of your lungs. It's pulled out. Actually, it's horrible. You feel it's like it's just wrenched out enough that you feel your lungs scream, and also your skin scream. You feel it feels like your skin wants to explode. You're like
Jesus.
as Celestia pulls their head back in, you see that some of the blood vessels have burst in their eyes. in her eyes, and like her skin is particularly purpley around her head, and you had this horrible sensation of both horrifying cold on one side of you and scalding heat on the other side. Specifically, the side facing the distant light just felt like you were being roasted, and the other side felt like you were in just the worst Arctic ice. But you pull yourself back in, and apart from the agonizing pain that you're suddenly in,
and trying to get breath back
and the
in.
sort of desperate struggling, gasping for air, it's not too bad. You didn't attune to Magnus's ring or anything, did you?
No.
Cool.
Definitely not attuned to anything of his.
Right. So, you proceed to take.
Hit points today.
Oh yeah.
Written them down.
So, in addition to momentarily losing all of your air, you take 10 points of radiant damage and 15 points of cold damage.
15.
Ouch.
Cool.
And you're like momentarily just horrifyingly disoriented.
So Celestia lies on the floor and puts her head over the edge, as though to have a look underneath. Not a particularly death-defying gesture.
Yeah.
And
By
then-
the way, you do get a glance underneath.
Oh yeah. What is it?
It appears to be just like a smooth dome, like hemisphere underneath. Like it's going to curve under and wrap round to the other side.
Like there's an upside down dome and we're standing on the flat bit.
Yep. And there's nothing underneath it. There's no set of four elephants on a turtle's back or anything.
So you see this like quite not particularly death-defying gesture happen, and then Celestia just come back like,
What happened? Celestia?
all the air. There's no air. But like not no air, like air sucked out, and does my face look sort of roasted to you?
Yeah.
Come here. Let me have a look at that.
Don't put your head over the edge, folks.
Celestia has some mild burns on one side, and interestingly, mild sort of like frostbitey type burns on the other side, almost.
Okay,
we've
Corzin
learnt
will
a
open
thing.
the healer's kit and get some salve on that.
Yeah.
I really didn't think just having a look would be that deadly, but we learn.
I was about to try sending Marjorie over, so you saved me some Marjorie. That's well done.
Yeah, I don't think a Marjorie would last that, to be honest.
No,
Ow.
absolutely not. See the pot.
That suggests where we are is artificially created to be the way that it is, which tracks with everything else we've encountered in here.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't worth it either, to be honest. It's just like a dome.
On the bright
So is
side,
it attached to this here platform, or do you think if the platform moved, it would leave the air behind?
What was that, Bob?
Like if I moved the platform we're on, do you think the air would come with it, or would
I
we
don't
leave
know,
it
mate.
behind and just roast?
Don't know. But might be
Can you
worth
do
doing
that?
it cautiously.
I mean, it's just a. What are we? How big is this? Maybe I can't. How big are we? It's 10 by.
like
10
20 foot
radius or
diameter.
diameter? 20 foot diameter. Okay, that's too big, isn't it? How heavy?
Fair.
Well, it's made of marble, as far as you can tell.
pretty
Although,
heavy.
interestingly, I mean, it's made of marble. Although, how much it weighs is an interesting question, because it is, as it were, like, apparently hanging unsupported. Although there is also apparently gravity, based on the fact that you are standing on it.
I think it's too big for me to make it move. Or make it alive. It's possibly too heavy to make me pick it up.
Well, given what we've just found out, maybe send Marjorie ahead of us.
Really?
If I
She'll
send Marjorie
explode.
out of even, she will explode immediately.
Right, she's tiny and more easily explodable. Like, she'll just explode. It won't be helpful.
She's more easily brought back, though.
Yeah.
But the second
what?
she leaves the air, she explodes. She won't get anywhere.
if it was just the air, she might be alright, but it's not, is it?
How quickly do things lose their eyes that you've got, Corzin? Like, is it immediately that they're not on you anymore that the eyes go away?
Why have we never asked this before?
So, you've tried this.
Have we
yeah.
now? I can't
So,
remember.
if Corzin takes the belt off, or is severed from the belt, in effect, the eyes fade over an hour, because that's the rate they fade in over. But the connection to the eyes goes, if that makes sense.
Right,
Yeah.
okay, yeah.
so
I
Corzin-
immediately lose the ability to
Yeah.
use them, but they don't actually go away
Yeah.
until an hour has passed.
So if Corzin takes the belt off, you've only got Corzin only has 2 eyes, but he can put the belt back on within an hour, and it'll still work.
But if something he's wearing that has eyes on it, because he's been wearing it, if he takes that off, he immediately loses the connection to the eye.
Oh, I see
Yeah,
what you're
go
saying. Like, my hat would have eyes on it. If I were to take the hat off my head, but still, like, be holding it, could I hold it out in front of me to a point where that would be perhaps in the void, but my hand itself wouldn't?
You don't know. You've never tried it.
Okay, I will do that. I will take my hat off my head, and I will gingerly just, like...
I wouldn't stick it out just yet. Just see if we can first, otherwise we can just get a stick or something. And
Yeah,
you hold
let's
it
do
long
something we're
enough
not
and
bothered
it'll
about. Your hat would be sad.
So the first thing you do is just take your hat off and hold it out in front of you, like not at the edge. It does appear to work. While holding the hat, you can kind of see through the eyes on it still. You kind of toss the hat from one hand to the other, and while it leaves connection with your hands, you momentarily can't see out of the eyes, and then as soon as you grab the hat again, you can see out of it. So that connection appears to work. I'm going to say that you've, taken off and worn enough clothes, and also held enough weapons, and so on, to know that you kind of need to wear a thing for it to develop eyes, which does mean that your carbine and I guess your belaying pin
Okay,
might
I was
have
going
an
to say,
eye
do
on.
my weapons also have the eyes on? Because that's an interesting thing.
Your scabbard, but not your blade. The scabbards
Right,
of your
okay,
blades,
that
but
makes
not your
sense.
blades. It's the
That makes sense.
outwards-facing surface.
Perfect, then I can just take the blade out of the scabbard, unhook the scabbard from my belt, and use that.
Yeah, that would function.
What if we put your hat on like a top or something with the eyes on, like on a long stick that you were still holding? Would that still do the eyes?
Well, I've got the belaying pin here, but that's not
well,
particularly
just-
long.
Put your hat on the end of your scabbard a sec and hold
Right.
that up in the air. Can you still see out the hat eyes?
I hold it to the full extent of its height, which is probably about 5 feet.
No, you can see out of the scabbard. You can't see out of the hat. Only the scabbard
Okay,
has the
so
connection to you.
Has to
We
be
can't
attached
just-
to me, I think.
Right, so we can't just
Right.
put something on the end of a fishing rod.
Because that'd be really useful right now.
That would be
Very
very
funny.
helpful, but no.
Not for right now, generally, but it's
Also,
sort
though,
of
it
very
felt like
fun.
I could have quite easily just sort of been like Jason and sort of taken off the edge by force.
Yeah.
I'm really trying to avoid the word sucked off right now, and it's all I can't.
Stop avoiding it.
It felt like you could have
You were
fallen
nearly
off.
sucked off.
Okay,
The sensation was more like you'd
almost
already,
sucked off.
you'd already. It was less like a. Okay, so some force pulled all the air out of your lungs.
Yeah,
But it didn't feel like it was necessarily going to pull you
right.
off
okay.
the edge.
It wasn't pulling
the
me.
risk of falling off the edge was the fact that was the risk of you already having some forward momentum
And being disoriented.
and then being disoriented enough that you lost your grip
cool. That
and
makes
just
sense.
essentially fell.
Right. Got ya. Okay. I retract that. Awesome.
Oh.
if it wasn't like force that was on me, I retract that because that means that it's chill. Is there any way to get this thing to move? Or do we live here now?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I
It
mean,
might be too
use it-
big for me to move it.
I mean, there is something we haven't tried. Saya! Anyone?
Hello.
You call out. There is no response.
Rude.
It was worth a try.
I just figured we hadn't tried it, you know?
Oh yeah, no.
Yeah, no, it was worth a
I meant
try.
to earlier, and then your face burned, so I got distracted.
Sorry. My fault.
Corzin
No,
will-
I was gonna do similar.
I mean, it was luck of the draw, really, wasn't it? One of us
Really,
was
it was
going to.
50-50 who was gonna get there first.
Corzin will gingerly poke the scabbard out in front of him to the extent where, like, it's going as far as we can see over the edge.
Okay. You hold the scabbard out. So there's some slightly odd effects that happen. First of all, you don't get any sort of touch feel. You only get visual sensation through this.
Yeah.
As you put the scabbard over the edge, you don't feel like the scabbard is being pulled out of your hand or anything. But I need you... Yeah, I guess you specifically to roll a con save.
Okay. First roll of the year. Okay. That's a 19 total.
Okay, as soon as the scabbard goes out just past the edge, the eye, the sort of pair of eyes that you're seeing out through, because there's ones on either side, are immediately struck by the light from that distant pinpoint becoming momentarily blinding.
Oh, that's bright. That's really bright.
It takes a moment for them to adjust, but you manage to keep, like, you tilt them like at an angle because the eyes can't like blink.
Oh yeah, you'd have to angle them in such a way it wasn't so dazzling.
Yeah, and then slowly, like, kind of move it down to look through the periphery a bit. But you manage to avoid being blinded by the intensity of the distant light, which is apparently not... It doesn't feel like it's changed, but it feels like you're getting a blast of additional radiance. And even light in strange spectra that you don't normally perceive that much. Like, there are some oddities with wearing the belt of eyes. Sometimes flowers look weird. Like, yeah, they've got like weird little like faint bullseye patterns and stuff on them that you can't normally see.
Seeing them like insects.
Yeah, it goes a little into infrared, red, and ultraviolet, basically. And you're getting like a lot more of that out of the distant light source. However, you are able to angle that scabbard a bit, and you can confirm that the platform just appears to be the little hemisphere. And walking around the edge and like tilting the scabbard, it appears to be the same all the way around. There's nothing below, nothing in any direction that you can see apart from the distant light and the platform itself.
So that's bright, but like, what even is the point of all this then?
I guess there must be some way of making this move towards that light.
I mean, there must be.
Presumably. All
So
right.
what's like this place? Does this look like Cloudstone? It looks like Cloudstone, right?
Feels similar.
It appears to be... Yeah, it appears to be marble-like in nature. It probably is Cloudstone. There is a nice bit of, it's nicely worked and patterned, but not in a way that indicates, magical sigils, just decoration.
Corzin, what's go in giant?
This is a smart people thing.
Oh, and you know
Yeah.
this because from...
Pigate.
Kibros. Yeah. You call it out, nothing happens.
Boo.
Radiant. What about light?
Well, try making some light.
I'm going to pop a light at the front of the thing.
Ooh, interesting. Okay. When you say at the front, there is only what there's basically.
Oh, when I say,
yeah,
I mean the way that we want to go towards the
Yeah.
one light source.
Okay.
If I'm saying it, I say at the front, it's a circle.
No,
Yeah,
no,
you
that's
are
fine.
right.
Yeah.
No. There is literally one point of reference in this whole place.
Yeah.
Okay. You place
Are we
a
playing
li-
Outer Wilds?
You place the light, the dancing light at the front. I'm trying to think about how this would affect things. And so what I want to know is, are you placing it on the platform or outside the platform?
Very edge, I think.
Okay.
I'll start at the very edge, and if nothing happens, I'll move it off the edge. Basically.
All right. You place it on the very edge of the platform. And nothing appears to happen.
I'll shunt it off the edge. And just
Okay, shunt
try
off
and
the
place
edge.
it like a foot in front.
So, all right, this is close by, and the way this works, sure. Something odd immediately begins happening. You almost don't feel like so. So, I actually have a question for each of you. What, as Celestia does this, what are you looking at? What is your focal point?
I mean, I'm looking at the dancing light.
So Celestia's looking at the dancing light.
because that's what I'm doing, so I feel like I must be.
I think I'm looking around to try and feel if we're moving, as though there might be some sort of sense of movement if it was to start moving, or that anything might look different around us.
And Corzin.
I'll say my point of focus is probably the light source out there in the void, but
Okay.
with my
So this is... No, it's fine. It's where your attention is focused that
Yeah.
matters. Scamp, you kind of look around, and initially you don't really... and you're just kind of like feeling. You don't feel any... You don't feel any movement or anything, per se. Celestia, as you move the light out, out the corner of your eye, you see that distant, like kind of bright whitish yellow light seem to zip off to the right, out as if it just moves. It just goes right and out of your vision for a moment. Corzin,
Interesting.
as you're focusing on the distant golden light, you see Celestia out of the corner of your eye push the little purple light forwards, and then the purple light seems to vanish rapidly to the left. Actually, it seems to move slowly to the left, as does Celestia facing it, and you realise that although you're that in the moment that you're looking forwards, because you're able to see out of all of your eyes, it takes you a moment to realise that your body is moving almost. That the eyes you are looking out of are moving to follow the distant golden sort of star.
Oh.
Scamp, a moment later, you, as you're frowning and looking around, you notice that the Celestia is looking at the purple light, and the distant golden light seems to be moving, but actually, but oddly enough, it's like the whole platform is like everything on the platform is oriented towards the little purple light. It takes you a few minutes to put it together, but you suddenly realise there is movement going on, but you can't feel it. You are
Can't figure out from your description
in
how
effect,
we're moving.
you are now the platform appears to be rotating fairly rapidly around the little purple light, and you can only tell that it's rotating around the purple light because the golden light seems to be moving in the distance.
Right, okay.
So it's like...
I'm going to say Celestia's a bit slow and like doesn't get...
Yeah, it's just one of those moments that takes a few seconds based on where you're looking to realise.
It's like orbit.
Yeah, in an absolute sense, you are now you are now rotating around that little purple light. And the distant golden light appears to be fixed in, is relative to you, fixed in space, and you are now moving.
Or I think we're spinning around it now.
Right, that's weird.
Yeah.
Huh.
I turn it off.
Okay, it turns off, and the distant golden star stops moving.
What happens if you do two at once?
Yeah,
Where-
one either side of us.
Cool,
yeah,
let's
like
try that.
opposite sides of the this place.
Yeah.
Okay, are you doing them sort of even distance?
Yep.
All right, this is going to get real weird.
I can't actually figure out what would happen in my brain, so I'm looking forward to it.
I am going to go with...
New toys.
So because... my apologies to the physicists listening who understand orbital mechanics better than I do. But,
This is D&D.
yeah. But what I'm going to say is, for a moment, do you make the two lights the same colour or different colours? Because you can make them whatever colour you want, technically, I think.
I probably unthinkingly make them purple because that's my habit colour, and we'll
So
play with
you have a
if
weird
we
moment.
find that they do different
Yeah.
things, we'll play
So
with
you have a
colours.
weird moment where the purple light in front of you, you make one purple light, and then you turn around and you make another purple light. And for a moment, the second purple light seems to whip around a bit, and you find and you realise that the first purple light has moved around to be between, so that you now have two purple lights in front of you. And then a moment later, the second purple light seems to become fixed in position, and as you rotate, and you see the other purple light again. And it takes you a moment to realise, because you're at such small scale, you do work out that the little dais is now essentially, the platform is moving in a figure eight around these two light sources.
Oh.
Huh.
Well, this feels silly.
Pull them back in a sec. I'm going to try something briefly.
Turn them off.
You
Yeah.
turn them off, and again, there's
Stop.
the only point of reference now is the distant golden star.
Celestia's so little understanding of physics.
I am going to shoot. What do I want? Eldritch Blast or Firebolt? Let's do an Eldritch Blast out and just see what happens. Because that's a beam of crackling energy. That's light.
It has light. Yeah.
It has light. So I guess we get a weird... Okay, so bizarrely, I guess two things happen. But whether you can even perceive one of them in the current circumstances is interesting. So I would like everyone to make a perception check, please.
Okay.
19.
This is
This
my
is,
first roll.
In a sense, sight-based.
Okay, cool.
Ha! Well, I have also rolled a 2, so...
Aww.
23.
Honestly, yes, too low for you to notice one of the things.
Ooh.
Okay.
So the thing that you do notice, because of the relative position of the distant star, is as you fire off the Eldritch Blast, that flickering candle of pinkish light flares out, and you can tell that the platform begins orbiting it at a very steep curve, but as it goes more distant, because of the way that the star starts moving more slowly. Because you can tell it's curving because the star starts rotating around, and then that rotation slows, as if the further away the light source is getting, the less quickly you are now orbiting it. And after about honestly, Scamp, you only know this from experience. Your shots and your normal maximum distance for an Eldritch Blast is what, 240 feet?
Yeah, 240.
After about 240 feet or so, the light sort of fizzles out, and the distant star stops moving.
But it didn't seem to pull us along with it at all?
It didn't seem to... I mean, it's actually kind of hard to tell. You can tell that you rotated... You can tell from the movement of the distant star that you were in some way rotating around it. And you can tell that the angle of rotation changed as it got further away. But then it vanished. And as far as you can tell, you stopped.
I mean, I can move dancing lights. We'd be going round and round.
Do we actually? Yeah, we're going round. Do we actually follow it, or is it just going to move away from us and we'll slow down?
I mean, we haven't tried that, have we?
No, let's try
It's
it.
worth a try.
Yeah.
I was hoping we'd just like follow along with it, but
I'll do dancing
maybe
light.
it's too fast.
Okay.
And then my attempt will be to move it towards the distant light.
Cool. So, just keeping track of this, you've tried dancing light, one dancing light close by, two dancing lights equidistant close by, and you've tried firing off a bright thing into the distance. So, you take one dancing light, you cast it out. How far out do you want to go? Because you can actually go I think you can go 500 feet away with upgraded cantrips and stuff.
Okay. I mean, I'll start it 20 feet away from us and just try and make it keep going.
So,
because the test was to move it and see if we move with
Yeah.
it rather than it being far away.
So something interesting happens then as you move it out. So the first thing that happens is you begin rotating quickly around it, as you did before. As you move it... So, right, you know that you are moving it in a given direction.
Probably really hard to keep track though, right?
I'm going to say that with just a basic intelligence check, you think you can keep it moving just in a straight line relative to where you started. Just sort of keep moving this direction.
It's decent actually. That's a dish 20.
Okay, that's fine.
Nice.
You're able to. You don't get. You manage to avoid getting confused and moving it relative to where the dais is. You can I'm going to say for convenience, because you only have one reference point. You pick the star.
That's what I was going for.
You go
I
for the
wanted to
direction
move
star,
towards the star.
and you just make sure it keeps moving towards the star.
Yeah,
So.
that was the plan.
Yeah. So you start rotating rapidly around it. Then it continues moving, but you keep moving forwards and getting it more distant. As this happens, you continue rotating around it, but you get the feeling that you are now sort of swinging around it and almost I'm going to say, especially with the 20 intelligence, you're testing this, you work out that whatever distance you move that light to, it's always rotating you either kind of clockwise or anti-clockwise. And you work out, and you kind of get the sense that, it's based on which side of the thing essentially... In fact, I'm going to make this real straightforward, because you've made a few of these. You realise it's clockwise if I position it slightly above if I position it above the floor level. It's anti-clockwise if I place it below floor level.
Oh, positive and negative.
Yeah, and wherever you are, whatever distance you set it at, it orbits, keeping that distance.
Okay.
So, if you want it to move you further, so at 20 feet away, you go from 20 feet behind it to 20 feet in front of it, and then back to 20 feet
Regardless
behind
of
it.
where the light is.
Yeah. And then when you extend it to 100 feet away, it then continues moving you around in a larger arc until you are 100 feet in front of it, then back until you're 100 feet behind it. So essentially, it's always moving you relative to your to the distance you're at from that light.
Get you.
And you get the sense that, and you know from testing with two of them, that there seems to be some rule that affects which light you like, how you move between multiple lights as well.
So we could do like a figure eight and just move ourselves forward, and when we're at the far end, drop the back one and put it in front again. And
Yeah, so
way
like
along.
leapfrogging it or pulling a rope hand over hand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically.
And we
that
could do one
should
at
work.
a time and just drop it and put a new one. But if we did a figure eight, you could just... Yeah.
It'd be a
one-
bit less tight on the time, like reaction-wise.
Yeah.
Shall we try
It
it?
doesn't need to be perfect, though, does it? Because we
Doesn't.
did quite a wide arc, and...
And at the top of the figure
one,
eight, I
like-
take the back one and put it at the...
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, as
one,
we
like,
start
50
on...
feet ahead and one 100 feet ahead or something like that. And then we're at the furthest point from where we started.
Yeah.
Drop the one that started closer and just put it ahead. And yeah.
Let's try that.
To do a nice little figure eight up the way.
Yeah, let's
right.
give that a go. See what happens.
I'm going to say that you think you get this working.
Gradually creeping towards
You think you're gradually creeping towards it. Within this distant star is distant. So within, although you settle into a good rhythm in the first 10 minutes of just moving dancing lights, basically. And you can tell, like, you're pretty sure you are making progress. You're keeping the star in front of you in a very much in a manner that calls into you very much makes you think of the early days of navigation.
Yeah.
Like literally traveling by. There's the North Star.
Yeah.
Yep.
You feel like
What I wouldn't give for the boar right now.
you feel like you must be getting closer, but the star is bright and distant, and you don't know how long it will take. Off the top of the bat, let's just suffice to say that after 10 minutes, you're not immediately obviously closer, but that may change over time. Also, I meant to do this earlier, but Scamp, can I ask you to roll 2d100s, please? Because you have an outstanding tides.
This is a
Oh,
bad place
dear.
for one of those. That's fun.
Hooray!
Go on, have a little
87.
explode. It'll be fun.
And 98.
What was the first one?
87.
I'm just looking through a couple of options as well. Okay. So you see two possibilities in front of you. One of potentially blinding insight, and one of fire. And when I say
place
blinding
always seems to
insight,
be-
I mean very literally blinding. Like you get a sense that that one path may lead to literal blindness, and one path will lead to fire.
Does it feel like the blindness would affect me?
Both of these
Or
feel like
generally.
they will affect you.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh, dear.
Okay, well that's less scary for the fire, weirdly, because fire in this place affecting everyone would be terrible.
I mean, yes, but let's not forget that when
Fire has a tendency to
a
spread.
fireball can be centered on you.
Yeah.
Oh, that's true. There is so little air that I just don't think fire can possibly be an option.
You are
Fair.
smart.
Yeah.
So I guess I'm going blind.
Bye.
All right. Can you please roll me 1d100.
31.
And again, please.
Oh
God.
dear. 72.
Okay, so you, like, Bobs, I'm telling you that this will last for 31 minutes.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Everyone else, as you're kind of starting to get into the swing of this, Scamp kind of like looks like a little uncomfortable, like they've got like acid reflux or something. Like they start burping a little bit, and then and they look like they're kind of sweating in places as well. They're not looking great. Like their skin is getting a little clammy, and
I don't feel so good.
You right there, Scamp?
Do you need a snack or something? Looking at the dancing light, like not
Yeah.
really,
Yeah.
not really. I'm assuming I'm concentrating quite a lot right now.
yeah.
No, I feel queasy. I don't want to put anything in that.
It'll be an interesting experiment if you throw up off the side.
That's true.
I'll start rummaging for snacks.
It's real. Oddly, you get the strange sense that you can kind of really like Scamp. You can really like smell the snacks in your bag of holding. Like you can almost feels like you can see them before you touch them as you're rifling through. Corzin, you see Scamp's skin oddly seem to buckle and ripple as they're reaching into their bag and moving it.
Oh, that's not normal.
You're
Scamp,
not
are you seeing
normal.
that?
What? What? Seeing what?
Your skin's gone all wibbly.
You look.
That's fine.
You look at your arms.
Oh.
You got goosebumps. Actually, the goosebumps are like turning into like pimples or almost like pustules. And your fingers are starting to like bend in strange ways.
Am I going to burst? I feel like I'm going to burst.
I'm going to leave that dancing light here and turn around and stop doing this. What is happening?
I don't know.
You look around.
That looks bad.
And Victory and Shanti are both staring. Victory like, Scamp, are you going to... Scamp proceeds to explode, for want of a better word. Or rather...
Scamp explode.
Scamp transforms in a very different way to their usual polymorph type transformation.
Oh no.
Their limbs start to while already looking kind of weird and elongated and floppy, suddenly burst outwards. And Scamp, you essentially you kind of have. Frankly, it's testament to Fighty's construction of your garments that they still stay intact and sort of on you. But Scamp's entire body seems to turn to goop. Scamp transforms into a... I'm going to say multi-limbed, but they're more like pseudopods, like an oozing mass of bright pink flesh covered in eyes and mouths. You think you saw something like this during that time the Dreamfold started leaking into the world, actually, now that I think about it.
Oh no, this is not like the thing we fought on the barge.
Yeah, Scamp suddenly looks very much like the thing you fought on the barge.
We've just gone naught to Cronenberg very quickly.
Oh yeah, so Scamp, you basically turn into a Shoggoth, into a gibbering mouther type situation. You are entirely still you. Your brain is you. You don't go insane, except for the experience, because suddenly you have 72 eyes in a very different way to Corzin.
I hate it.
Oh dear.
Can they talk? Imagine not.
Scamp, you can talk, and all of your mouths talk, and also rabbit out all your rabbit out your subconscious thoughts in the background at the same time.
Oh no!
Sandwiches now. This isn't going to work at all.
Yeah,
I wonder what colour Jeffrey would be if he was one like this. Would it be the fur or the skin? Celestia would look great like this one. That would be a good colour. Corzin would be weird. It'd be like one of them blobfish I saw one time.
So
hey, look at that light. It stopped moving. Where's my sandwiches? I was getting a snack. I swear I had a snack.
So Scamp,
what in the Regent's tits have you done?
you can speak. It just requires kind of a focused effort to get enough of your mouths talking. You
I think
could.
they're all talking all the time.
Oh yeah, but that's the thing. Talking and saying the same thing, like to sort of overriding your your subconscious, like blathering out everything you're thinking about in a confusing mess. You can taste through your skin and smell through your skin.
What does the floor taste like? Because I was going to lick it earlier and I didn't get round to it, so this is perfect.
Oddly sterile. Oddly sterile and dry. Apart from the bits where you can taste Corzin's boot leather, and you can smell all of your companions really strongly.
Jeffrey smells amazing.
You get some of Jeffrey's hair in one of your many mouths and can taste it, and it just sort of sinks into your tongue and is digested. You do, in addition to just the Cronenberg horror of this, though, you also have astonishing eyesight. And astonishingly parallel eyesight. I'm going to ask you for... Oh boy. I guess this is a wisdom check to master your new senses.
I'm in trouble. Where's my dice?
Well, if you want to use tides, you can.
Christ, what even is that? The rib cage is getting in the way. Let's see if that's a 9 or a 6. I think it's a 9. Yeah, it's a 9.
Okay. It takes you pretty much half an hour to really...
I just talk the whole time.
To really master your senses. So I'm going to come back to Scamp at the end of that half hour.
I expect to do immediately after this has happened.
Yes.
Yeah.
So so now it's let's into that half hour. Scamp has just turned into the nightmare creature that you fought on that barge that one time. Regent's teeth, says Victory.
I'm just going to do the obvious check. Is anyone else feeling funny?
Shoes taste like.
Well, I wasn't. But
that's. So I can taste you.
No. I mean, beyond this, says
but
Shanty, I'm feeling fine.
Nobody feels wibbly. This isn't a this place thing. This is a weird Scamp thing, right?
Sandwiches.
Looking around, I think it's just a Scamp thing.
Right.
Didn't they turn into a sheep once?
Yeah, that's why I'm not shitting my pants.
Yes.
I wonder what I'd look like a goose. I should be a goose. Do goose taste
You'd
good?
make a lovely goose. But yeah, I'm not shitting myself because they've turned into stuff before. This one's particularly strange, and all the talking's very disconcerting, if I'm honest.
I wonder if geese dream. What would geese
Scamp
dream of?
kind of
dream of geese.
oozes
Have I dreamed of
along the
geese?
ground, when they're not focusing, and you realise parts of them are in danger of spreading, not only towards the edge of the dais, but
What would happen if part of me fell
over
off
your
the edge?
feet, and actually they're surprisingly heavy as well.
Ooh.
The amount of non-Scamp space on the platform is starting to become a problem.
Scamp, you need to go back into the middle.
Pull
Yeah, can you
myself
move?
together.
Can you
I'm
get,
a pair of curtains.
Squish yourself a bit?
Curtains made of. What would they
Okay,
taste good?
Scamp, can you make a charisma check, please?
I'm rolling so badly. That's a 7.
Scamp, bits of Scamp like pull themselves into a little mound near the center, but the outer parts just continue like spreading. It's like Scamp pulls a bit in, and then other parts smoosh outwards. Like they can only control parts of their body at a given time.
Can I cast suggestion on them?
Yeah.
I'm gonna try. I'm just gonna go. Stay in the middle. Get smaller.
Scamp, can you roll an intelligence check to have enough of yourself together to realise that you probably shouldn't try to resist this?
That's a 6.
Cool. Roll wisdom save then.
That's a 10.
Cracking.
Okay.
At least my bad rolling held for that.
It does. And you try to follow it. I will let you roll your charisma check a second time to represent advantage.
15.
Okay. This, like, overriding
I've not rolled over a
Scamp's
10 yet.
very divided will seems to be working. More like they're able to keep most of themselves peeling back in towards the center.
I will keep concentration on that.
Yeah.
I wonder what I taste like. Nom nom nom.
I don't think one where they've turned into something has ever lasted that long, right? Because there was that time where they couldn't get drunk for a month. That's the longest anything's been.
Yeah.
But I don't think they've turned into anything for like a long time.
They told me they once turned into a plant pot.
Yeah, I don't think that was for long.
They did do that.
All over the floor.
You are all over the floor, that is
All
correct.
over. Am I the floor now? Corzin, step on me, see what happens. Would I eat your shoes?
Corzin is going to
I'd eat your
gently
shoes.
tap the edge of the Scamp mass with a shoe.
I mean, okay, yeah, Scamp, it doesn't sound like your subconscious even wants to resist the urge to try and eat Corzin. So please make an attack roll.
Oh no.
This is just like proficiency
that
plus...
I've rolled well.
Yeah, plus dex.
That is like... Oh, proficiency as well? Oh no. That's 25 to hit.
Yeah, that'll hit.
Right, I don't know why I didn't think I would need to get these stats up. So let me just find out what you need to roll.
This is the stupidest one in a while, isn't it? By the way, I love that in character you've turned into a gibbering mouther, and I've been like, yeah, is everyone else okay? Yeah, cool, that's probably fine.
Yeah, watch out.
Like, I love that we're at that point.
Okay. Oh, wow. Okay, that is, apparently that's 5d6. Could you roll, please?
Ouch.
Oh, God.
3 of them, that's 5. Anyway. That is not great damage, so that's good. That's only 11.
Okay.
I rolled a few ones.
Like, the mouth itself only has Scamp's teeth, but as you kind of nudge the boot into it, it does bite onto your boot. And as you're kicking it off, strands of the Scamp mass, like, fling themselves onto
your
your
eyes.
leg and start biting with tiny mouths that form there.
Nom, 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 nom,
You manage to extricate yourself. From the Scamp mass, but you like basically have like a series of small scratches and bruises from where tiny Scamp mouths have been biting all the way up your leg.
What the hells?
Whoops.
I mean, literal hell's teeth here.
I mean, you did kind of stand on them.
Nom 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 nom.
Like, I've told them to stay in the middle of it. That's on you.
Victory sort of rubs her temples. Can I just say how thankful I am that you've cast a spell to keep them in the centre? Because if they're going to try and bite us any time we step on them, I'm glad that we have floor space.
Yeah, I mean, I've got 8 hours of this
Oh,
spell,
the
and then I
floor.
can do it again if we need to. And I don't think turning into anything has ever been that long.
I think the longest it's been is an hour or so, but still,
like an hour? Yeah.
That's a while here.
Yeah.
Fanciest floor.
Right.
That is so much talking. Like, is this what Scamp's brain sounds like all the time? I'm imagining like this, but like 7 different ones,
just
like at all times.
Victory says, like, I mean, that's what my brain sounds like. Isn't that what everyone's brain sounds like? And
Well,
Shanti,
is it all like words, chattering words all the
well,
time?
not like words, but like, you know, you've always there's like a bunch of things that you might be thinking about any time.
I mean,
and-
yeah, you think about several things at once.
Shanti-
Not always in words. They don't ever come out like that. It'll be music and vibes.
Shanti just raises her eyebrow. No, no, that's not how I think.
I wonder if I could fly like this. What if I cast fly on you, or what if I cast fly on everyone?
Don't
Don't
do
you
that.
dare fucking cast any spells!
Scamp, you are perfectly capable of casting spells in this state.
Oh Lord, no.
I can't do 2 suggestions on one thing. I can only concentrate on one. I've told you to stay in the middle.
This is true.
If I fly, I might just float away. I shouldn't do that. That wouldn't be in the middle. What's in the middle?
Currently, you and I guess the gate. So Scamp is like pulling around like the Golden Gate archway.
What does the Golden Gate taste of?
Metal, and mostly metal. Dust from the other place. Weirdly, you're like partly exuding. It's very strange. You're partly exuding from like on one side, the Golden Gateway is just like a flat gold surface. On the other side, it leaks into like it's open to the Lawbearer's Wing. So you're like, there's a little bit of you that like spills into that cave.
Hello, vampire house.
It mostly tastes of vampire dust and rock.
I'm eating vampires. Am I eating dead people? I'm eating dead people. Aren't we all eating dead people, sort of? Because everything goes into the ground and then comes out the ground.
I hate
things
this
from
one.
the ground.
Okay. As soon as I am
happens if I cast a
confident
spell?
we are not in any immediate danger, provided we don't prod the Scamp thing.
Yeah, so
Corzin is
you have to keep round the edges of the dais, but you're all right.
Yeah. Corzin is going to take the belaying pin and place it upright on the ground, balanced,
Okay.
and see if the light source from the distant star, we'll say for lack of a better term at the moment, does it cast a shadow on the ground?
It does. As do the glimmering purple lights that you are figurating your way.
Yeah, I am going to,
towards
after
it.
a couple of minutes of figuring
Perfect.
out that nobody else is turning into these, I am just going to carry on with our trip, because what else is there to do currently?
Yeah, so yeah, and you get some interesting interplay of shadows as like the different because now multiple shadows are being cast by the belaying pin.
Yeah, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to mark where the shadow cast by the distant light is on the ground, either like by just
it's gonna be
scratching it
moving.
or... Yeah, no, that's the whole point. I'm
Okay.
trying to figure out our rate of progression.
Right, you're clever. Cool.
Okay.
I'm going to see if I can cast a spell. So I'm just going to test thaumaturgy and make my voice 3 times as loud.
It works. Scamp's murmuring becomes more like gibbering.
Fuck me, I wish I could do another suggestion.
Hang on. I do have a solution to this. I just got to double check the wording of it.
It's really fucking hard to concentrate on 2 things with all that noise, if I'm honest.
Okay.
Celestia is concentrating. She's just getting visibly stressed.
The platform itself in totality is about 20 feet wide, correct?
Yep. It's a 20-foot diameter circle.
Okay. I'm gonna roughly divide the circle in half, because is Celestia sort of out the front, for lack of a better term?
I'm
Yeah.
not going to move where I am. Yeah.
Yeah, Celestia is
I
like
will stand in one
navigating
spot and-
towards the
yeah.
light.
Yeah. I'm literally just gonna place a silence so that it doesn't affect anybody else, but has the effect that it nullifies the noise that's coming from the Scamp thing.
Yeah, you basically anchor it low and like above the ground level of Scamp.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to say that you can, because it's like a 20-foot cube that you can basically do. You just anchor the base of the cube down so that it's extending about 2.5, 3 feet above the ground level.
Can you anchor it to the platform? Or does it stay in one spot?
Anchors to the platform works like ship rules.
Ah, fair.
Yeah.
It's
that makes sense.
Because you have to... Because
no, it's just curious.
Relativity is relativistic motion is very much the name of the game here.
I mean, it's only going to work for 10 minutes, but at least it'll be 10 minutes you aren't having to deal with that.
10 of 31.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so tempted to cast counter spell.
Like, I'm really sorry, Scamp, but like this is important.
Thank you.
Also, it means that Scamp can't cast anything that has verbal components.
Yeah, this is actually still the case. Unless I guess
I will cast Mold Earth and just start writing all my thoughts on the floor.
And yeah, you are able to... I guess you are able to write on the stone, because if it counts. Moving ahead. After 30 minutes...
Did the light move with the shadow?
Sorry?
Corzin's light shadow stick. Could you work out our travel speed?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to work out, our rate of progression.
You'll get a few chances at this, but I would like you to roll a navigation check, please.
Yeah, navigator's tools, figured. Okay. Oh, that's not great. That's an 11.
You mark it out, and you carry on. The shadow does not significantly enough change over 30 minutes that you think you can extrapolate from that. It might just be you might need to wait longer to perceive it. On the bright side, though, the shadow doesn't seem to change erratically either. You get the feeling that the distant light at least is not moving.
Yeah.
Or getting further away from you or anything like that. You reckon that you probably are getting closer to it. It's just some distance away.
Just really far away, yeah.
Yeah. I'd give this an hour, definitely, but I think from this at least I can conclude that what we're moving towards isn't itself also moving.
Well, that's something, because fuck me, this is boring, if I'm honest.
I don't imagine it's particularly stimulating, no. Alright.
Oh, it was fun for 5 minutes. Now it's been half an hour. I'm just dying a bit, to be honest.
It's like the weirdest form of rowing ever.
I'm going to say then, after exactly 30 minutes, so you have 2 minutes remaining on this Scamp, and you kind of get a feeling that your body is slowly starting to return more to itself, you're getting a sense of your nature firming back up, and it's going to pull itself back together soon.
Cousin silence has run out.
Oh yeah, Corzin silence ran 20 minutes ago. But over the 30 minutes, and at the point you hit 30 minutes, you have regained self-control. You've acclimatized to the strange form your body is in, and you realize that you can kind of mold your flesh to your will. You could form, you can extend out pseudopods. You can.
I become a bum.
Sorry.
I make myself into a giant bum.
That's the moment when you kind of get it together. All of Scamp sort of pulls into the center, and becomes a pair of huge mounds of flesh, like a giant bum, still covered in eyes and mouths.
Why, Scamp? Just why?
You also realise a few other things from doing this. One is that you're seeing through all of your eyes at once. And the wider you make yourself, and you kind of perceive this now that you have enough control to understand the input from all of your eyes, and from the time you were a pancake, the wider you make, the wider out those eyes are, the sort of wider your, almost the resolution of your, like the better the resolution of your telescope Scamp becomes. You realise that at your widest, you can see further and in more detail than you can when you're tightly compacted. Enough so that you think, although while you were pancaked, your brain was too spread out to really make sense of it. You think you could see whatever the distant light was in more detail. Maybe even get a sense of the actual distance, tricky as that is with a limited frame of reference.
Celestia, if I go big again, I think I can see really far.
Okay, got to promise not to be a dick, though.
By the way,
I promise not to bite anyone.
Cool, I'd take the suggestion off.
Almost all of Scamp's mouths are speaking in unison when saying this. It's like a creepy chorus of
There's one
Scamps.
that is just going bum 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 bum.
Yeah. While shaped like a bum.
Yeah.
I will then, once the suggestion drops, I'm going to make myself like a satellite dish.
Okay.
Really big and wide and flat.
You have this, like, everyone kind of has to, like, almost get down and hunker a bit as you spread out from the centre around the gate.
I'm actually going to stop us moving for a minute.
Okay.
Because I feel like they want to be looking a specific way.
Yeah.
So I'm going to stop us moving so they can.
And Scamp seems to almost turn into like a nightmarish flower, opening up with multiple petals, with all of the eyes shifting around to the front. And like a little sort of like, because you said satellite dish, like a little trunk of flesh with a big eye and a mouth in the middle, pointing and signalling the others, mounted on like a weird little like flesh stump anchored in the center, and like this strange murmuring flesh flower tilts towards the sun. You know, the distant star. Can I ask you to... Right. So, at your current size and breadth, I'm just going to say, can you please roll me a perception check? I'm going to say that you currently have a modifier of +10.
Can I give them inspiration?
You can.
Just go very fetching shape and give you a wink with this little flash of rainbow.
Okay.
I'm going to use tides, because you know what, fuck it.
Okay.
Let's make this happen again. I'm going to use that inspiration as well, because those both not great. What's the dice these days?
I think it's D10. Or is it D12?
I thought it was D12.
It's D12, sorry. Yeah, it's D12.
That is 29 then.
Nice.
So, interestingly, that is not a success, but you get you're able to, you spread yourself out as far as you can without leaving the dough, like without leaving the sort of the air around the platform, and like, unlike Corzin's painted eyes, your eyes can squint a bit as well, and like do have irises that can adjust and factor the amount of light going in. So you are able to
So I'd need a natural 20 basically to get anything without the inspiration. Bloody hell.
Oh yeah. So you can. So you're able to perceive. You're able to get a few senses here. First of all, you can see that there is something. First of all, that distant light is very distant. In the moments before Celestia, before Celestia removes the light, the nearby lights, you do get the sense that the platform is moving towards it, and interestingly, you also get the sense that the platform is probably orbiting around the distant light as well. But because it's the only point of reference, it looks like it's static. You're just orbiting, it's just such a far distance away that you can't really see it. Tell that you're moving. You can tell that there is something at the center of that light, but you don't quite have the visual resolution to make out what it is. And that there's something, and maybe something else there? You think that it might, it's still hard to work out the exact distance, but it is very far. And you have a horrible little realization. You could make yourself wider, and you would be able to see even better, but not for very long, because because it would take you outside, at least parts of you outside the reach of the platform.
I am going to do that, but I'm also going to wrap parts of me around the golden door in the middle, so that I'm not just going to fall off.
What did you say?
You wrap parts of yourself around
the golden door thing in the middle of this platform, so that I have something to hold on to.
Like as an anchor.
Yeah.
You do just that. Okay, so, first of all, please roll 2d100.
This is fine. 4 and 72.
Okay. Okay. So, all right. There are two futures ahead of you. One involves further transformation, but it's conditional in some way. You don't know what the condition will be. And one involves displacement of someone.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no.
We can't do that. We absolutely can't do that.
Yeah.
Whatever that is, we can't do that. It sounds awful.
Okay. In which case you choose the feature of transformation.
Oh, bugger.
So there is not an immediate effect, but Tides is now Tides has been discharged, and you stretch yourself out thinner, becoming just the fucking Cronenberg James Webb telescope.
Wow, that's an image.
Yeah. So this is going to be a little horrifying in multiple ways, but especially for you, because can I ask for a Constitution save to see how far you can stretch out and how much you can take before the horrifying effects of the void outside this nice little safe bubble start to really take their toll?
I'm going to use Tides on this because this feels like it could be horrible if it's bad.
Yeah, good shout.
Okay.
Oh, fucking hell. Okay, well, I rolled a 1 and a 20.
Jeez.
All right. Well,
So that's a 28.
28. Okay.
And it was a nat 20.
Yeah, it's a nat 20.
Yeah.
Cool.
So that makes a big difference. I will say that automatically gives you advantage on the next check because you're able to last. You're able to last for like quite a few seconds before your eyes start to literally, like, before the retinas on your Cronenberg flower eyes start to literally burn out from the radiation and the intensity of the radiation.
Things I did not expect to hear in D&D.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, this has gone in a slightly interesting direction, unexpected direction even for me. Okay.
I bloody love wild magic sorcery.
Oh,
It's so weird.
Scamp stretches themselves out almost paper thin, like held in place by like weird little like almost like struts of like more like corded muscle, like in the way that like an octopus's limbs hold together. With fine flesh spreading out and just like holding out these eyes in every direction. Scamp, you have enough presence of mind to keep all of your mouths in the at your center and thus away from the lack of air. Which mean so really well done with that. Though it does have you now have the horrifying. Those of you like you're all kind of clustered behind Scamp a bit. Because just of the need to rotate, but what little you can see is this horrifying flower with just like a pit of mouths at its center.
Hate this. Anyone else?
And
No, this is very, very disturbing.
This one I don't like.
Scamp stretches their eye petals out to a full 100-foot radius. They are like with like 10 times the width of the platform in every direction. In each direction, and it's honestly really horrifying because you watch as the flesh begins to crisp and burn outside the platform's edges.
I'm a crispy pancake.
Yeah, it's that's what some of the mouths say.
Oh.
Scamp,
Pancakes are ruined. Ooh.
you can roll another perception check. You have advantage on this. Your modifier is now plus 20.
32.
That is enough.
Still not rolling brilliantly.
Okay. A few quick conclusions then. You managed to keep this guy, like these eyes out for about 20 seconds before they just burn away.
Oh, gross.
And your skin, the flesh starts to burn too. You hold out for as long as you can before you just have to pull yourself back in to a lump in the center. Burned and ashen. I'm going to say that you... can you roll me d4, please?
1.
You drop to 1 hit point, essentially,
Hooray.
from the catastrophic damage that you've taken.
Yay.
However, you do get a lot of information. So you're able to see, first of all, you are miles and miles and miles away. Going at your current rate, you think it will take days, probably in excess of 3 days, to get there. But you could. You need a way to move faster than you're moving, or at least to transport much faster. You can see at the center of this brilliant, flowering of light, there is a humanoid figure, seemingly just sat cross-legged, and is the source of the light. They appear to be turned away from you and looking at and you would guess if they're looking at anything, they're looking at something that you can't see. There is also another platform nearby. They're floating just presumably in the void, but there is another one of these platforms, perhaps 200 feet from this distant figure. You have seen it now. And that is as much as you're able to get before your petals burn up and you're forced to bring yourself back in as a charred, smoking, ruined, gibbering mouther.
Ugh.
And about 30 seconds after that, about 10 seconds after that, you feel your form begin to calcify and harden, and your many petals and trunks and mouths sink. The mouths and eyes sink into your flesh and dissolve, and you sort of writhe back to having only 4 limbs, slotting back into your somewhat dishevelled clothing. You're twisting into a curled pair of horns, feathering out into hair, and you find a still very burnt and bloodied looking Scamp kneeling on the ground in the centre.
Well, that was weird.
Are you like horrifically injured? Do you want some healing?
Oh yeah, no, I think I'm about to fall
Right.
asleep. And
Cool. One each, Corzin?
Yep.
I'm going to do you a level 2 just because I'm worried about us running into other things.
sure.
And I'd like to keep the spells.
Yeah, I'm going to do a level 3
So
healing,
you get 9 off me.
Cure wounds. So that's going to be... actually, it'd be 4 of those, wouldn't it? Pause for mass. 16 hit points.
Well, I feel about a quarter of myself now. That's better.
Great. Lovely.
Deals with the worst burns,
Ow.
says Victory.
Yeah, it was one of the more insane ones, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
that was
look,
bad.
what even was that?
That was one of them fellows off the boat that time.
Yeah.
This is not what I envisioned when you said, like, something in the water with loads of mouths and eyes.
Yeah,
Shanti
that's pretty much it.
kind of is looking at her phone, and she has, like, pictures that she's saved. And she's going like, yeah, I've seen some shit, and this is going to give me nightmares.
Yeah.
Anybody got any incense on them? This entire place smells like burnt steak now.
Ugh. You can't have my incense, it's for Marjorie.
I think we just got to
Shanti.
live with it, to be honest.
Shanti thinks for a moment.
Actually, I can do shit. It smells like a stormy sea now.
Oh yeah, yes, you're able to. You clear a patch of it with thaumaturgy,
Prestidigitation.
Prestidigitation.
Yeah.
Shanti sort of like clicks her fingers. Oh, that's a good thought. Let me help. Switches on the Prestidigitation app and joins.
Thank
like,
you,
air
much obliged
freshening.
to both of you there. Ugh.
Well, that's a bit better. Yeah, gross. I heard some like
over
half-formed thoughts about somebody sat cross-legged on another platform while you were all talking.
Another thing.
You also said something about it being maybe really far away, but there
Oh,
were a
it's
lot of
bloody
there was a lot of
miles.
words
It's
over the top of
really-
each other.
No, we're not. We can't keep doing this. You need to sleep apart from anything else. So,
How long do you reckon it'd take if we kept doing what we were doing?
days.
I can't do this for days. I'll kill myself. Anyone else got any other ideas?
Well, using the same method, is there a way of getting the point of light further away from us so we travel faster?
I think that would just make a bigger circle. So I don't think that would make it faster. Does that make any sense?
No.
Yeah, no,
The thing's
I was
further away, we
wondering-
weren't moving as fast round.
I was wondering if we put one sort of directly above or directly below us. What would that do? Would we just spin?
I think we'd go around it.
On a different axis.
Yeah, it'd just be going around it in a different...
Oh, maybe, yeah.
Actually, you haven't tried that.
I mean, worth trying just to make sure that it doesn't
understand gravity. Just before I say the next sentence, will we all fall off it though if we go upside down? Well, how does that work?
Well, there doesn't really seem to be an up or a down outside of this place here.
I mean, we've got one.
Yeah.
And is it the same up and down if we do go outside? Like, if there's tips, are we going to fall off the edge? Or is the ground is what's holding us to the platform itself?
Hang on, can somebody cast light on one of these shots?
Yeah, actually. Shanty taps her phone.
Oh, cracking. I can't really stick it to
I forgot that,
someone,
that Shanty can actually... That technically that's a version of the light spell, so... Yeah,
Yep.
Shanty taps the phone to the shot and it lights up.
Right, he's gonna just throw it out of the out in the direction we were going.
Okay.
Does it fall?
So, you fling it out. It flies out the thing, and it continues, and the platform begins rotating around it, and it continues, and the platform is continuing to rotate slowly around it, and it doesn't lose momentum, it just keeps going at the rate at which Corzin flung it.
Alright.
I mean, I still don't think that's going to be fast enough, is it?
No.
And also, we're going round it, like it's...
As it slowly gets far enough away that you begin to, like, not really notice the rate at which you're rotating around it compared to, like, the movement of the star.
Right, yeah, it's just going to make us go in a bigger and bigger circle around that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is there any way we can move other than light?
I mean, I can teleport us, but there's a real big chance of it going wrong.
I also think that we might get in trouble for that. Well, I don't know, it's always been a test that we've got to pass, hasn't it?
Yeah, and teleport, like spotting the thing and then teleporting to the
This
thing.
person, were they sat on anything?
Shanty raises a hand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it a whiz test? Like, I'm pretty sure that
That's true,
the
actually.
bitch that, controlled my entire world didn't really intend you to pass her test.
Yeah, you have a
Yeah.
point.
And even if it was, we'd still be doing a thing. We'd have figured out being able to see a thing real far off and blah, 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 blah. But yeah, teleporting... There's a really good chance of us all dying.
That's the
Yeah.
thing, like if... Because you like, pick up bits of shit off the floor and, like, use them to get back to the place, right?
Yeah, if I want to get there accurately.
Yeah, like, you've got a bunch of little bits of wood in your pockets and shit, right?
Yeah, I got a whole catalogue.
Like, you don't have anything from here, and... Like, I put my head out for a second and my face nearly burned off, and, like, you look quite bad from your stretchy out pancake time.
Yeah.
That'd be quite frightening, really. I was wondering
say
about... I don't know if this is, like, a
would
weird
not be
thought.
good.
I don't know if this will work, but... What about, like, gusts of wind?
Well, there's no air out there. I
Yeah.
don't think when I control wind, I'm making air. I think I'm controlling the air that's there already. Is there a danger we'll just blow it all
Just
out
blow
of
all
here
our
and
air
we'll all
out.
Just, yeah, that's my fear.
No, you make a good point.
I actually have no idea. Is there any safe way to test that? Like,
Well, you're sort of doing a gust of wind, or you aren't, really, aren't you?
I can't do little ones, and I can only do massive ones.
is actually a good point. Hold on.
I don't have Gust of Wind cantrip. I only have the big
You
one.
only,
only
have
have the
the
big
4-hour one.
Which I could stop concentrating on, but like by the time it does,
it's really big.
Okay, I mean, there is a
Hold up.
there is a crude way of doing this, I think.
So yeah, I'm down for the crude way. What's the crude way?
Farts.
That's what my brain said.
You said it was crude.
Big
Okay,
farts.
Okay, Corzin will
Fart.
he will take his carbine off his back, and then just sort of empty the breech. And looking at where the point of light is, he will go to the opposite side and just stick the end of the barrel out, and essentially create a tube. There's air inside, there's no air outside. If it starts sucking the air, he'll pull it back immediately.
Ooh, interesting. This does not seem to create a nice little tube that immediately pulls the air out. It looks like that alone doesn't seem to be... Actually, wait.
I'm just thinking difference of pressure
about
here.
Yeah, it's creating difference of pressure. The tube creates a point in which it fell through. We know that the barrier does not extend through people, otherwise it wouldn't have pulled the air out of Celestia's lungs. Therefore...
Did I just break the physics of your world?
You've just made... No, you've reinforced the physics. Corzin, strength check, please.
Okay, yep.
What a fine day for science.
Technically, this is athletics, which I think...
Athletics, okay, grand.
So.
Cool, right. Natural one, but lucky.
Hey.
Okay, that's an 18.
So, a few things happen here. The first thing that happens is... Corzin.
Yep.
What are... You got your inventory. Are there any long, floppy objects that you are wearing or carrying? Ropes, scarves, anything like that?
Long, floppy objects.
Otherwise, I think it's going to be your coat that this happens to.
I think... broadly long, floppy object... 50 feet of silk rope.
Okay. So, earlier on, while getting the burn gel out...
Yep.
And then getting it out again as part of the cure wounds on Scamp.
Yep.
You took your backpack off, you rummaged around in it, dealt with all of that. But as you put it back on, and you kind of put it down and rummaged around with a lot of the stuff. In the process, unreally seen but not really recognized by you or anyone else, you pulled out a bit of that 50-foot rope cord and just sort of put it on the ground, and as you and it kind of came a bit undone. So in the process of gathering everything that's happened, you don't really notice the rope coming loose, spreading out a little bit along the ground. Therefore, when you move towards the edge, and you kind of get your carbine out and open it up and create this pressure differential tube.
Mm-hmm.
The sudden rush of air knocks you off your feet. You don't lose grip of the carbine. In fact, you hold on to it, but your foot becomes tangled in the rope.
Oh no.
The rope also then becomes, as a result of people's victory nearby scrambling to try and grab you, gets tangled up in victory and also on a sort of curlicue little decorative bit of the gate, and grabs hold of it. Now, what this essentially does is it creates a chain of rope wrapped around your foot, preventing you from being dragged out of the dais.
Okay.
Of the platform. And what ends up happening is Corzin holds up the barrel, pokes it through, and immediately air begins being sucked out into the vacuum from the platform. But the platform is not a sealed vacuum. There is a gateway opening into a place full of air. So immediately, a torrent of wind begins seemingly blowing out of the gateway into the Lawbearer's realm, and being funneled through this tiny pipe.
I may have just created a weather event back there.
Indeed, on the other side of the platform, you can now hear a sort of rushing sound as air is being sucked in to replenish the air that is now flowing. There is now a breeze in this dome as air is being sucked towards the hole that Corzin has created.
Oh, it's a breeze, not like a cyclone.
Oh no, it's a breeze on their side, and it's and it's kind of a strong wind here, but sort of in the space between the gate and where you are positioning and where you are holding this barrel. It is now.
Bear in mind, the barrel is at most an inch wide.
Yeah, and it's absolute vacuum on the other side.
Yeah. Okay.
You are like honestly, if you had you are mostly feeling it because you are right next to it and holding it in place, because you feel like just the air pressure on this side now is going to push your gun out.
Okay. Well, I hold on to that and pull it back in.
You manage to pull it out. An interesting thing you notice. Because you have many eyes, and I'm going to say some of the others notice this as well. That distant shot you flung out, the light spell hasn't worn off on it yet, and you see it change position as this happens. Not in the same way as you've been gently rotating around it, but rather as if you have suddenly moved forwards in relation to it being off to one side.
Alright, we have momentum.
Right.
Okay. Right. So we've got enough air coming through there. That's fine. That's great.
So we could shoot ourselves towards the thingy.
Yeah, if we had something that would make a big enough, like a large enough tube, but the only danger is we don't want to get sucked through it.
As if I did that for 40 minutes. I hate us. That was the most pointless 40 minutes of my whole life thus far.
Well, we had to know that, to know this.
It was really boring, Corzin. I can't overstate enough how fucking boring that actually was. I can't believe I did that for 40 minutes.
Let's all tie ourselves to things here so we don't blow away when we try.
Yes.
Yeah, let's get this rope actually properly cinched around us.
Yep. We've all got an implausible amount of rope.
Yep. I'm going to say that you secure various parts
We can anchor ourselves to the arch.
To the archway.
Yep.
Okay, so and I'm just going to say you do that. There's no rush.
Yep.
You take 10 minutes. You solidly secure yourselves to the archway. Jeffrey hops into a pack, as does Marjorie. Marjorie just needs to stay in a pocket. She's a cockroach at the moment. Jeffrey, as ever, goes
Make sure all our things are well strapped to us or in bags,
all
that
everything.
stuff.
Now, what are you planning to use to create your jet engine?
Shall I just change the platform? Because I can just shape the stone and make a little tube bit.
If that'd work, yeah.
Can you
do it right near the edge, but
rid of it if we need to?
Yeah.
I'll have to probably cast it again, but yeah.
Cool. Yep.
Okay.
Fuck it. Sure.
I'm going to ask you, Scamp, to describe to me exactly the construction that you are making, please.
Make it a hole that's small enough we can plug it with something if we need to.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. I'm going to find something that we can plug it with. before we make it, so I have dimensions to make the hole.
We've got enough lead shot.
Yeah.
I feel like it should be bigger than that, potentially.
What have we got?
I mean,
Well, I've got actually the blunderbuss slug shot. That would be about, 3 inches round?
That'll do.
That's 3 inches, really? Wow, that's pretty large.
Ouch.
Yeah, well, you think that the blunderbuss is essentially, it's got like that big funnel-shaped barrel, so that you can put essentially a small cannonball in it, or a whole bunch of little ones.
Yeah.
I can't find anything stupid enough in my inventory that I'm willing to risk it being thrown into space. Or that's the right shape, like it doesn't fall.
Oh, hang on. I think I might have a solution to this. I have...
What do you have?
I have in my inventory the literally giant cookbook. Just over the edge. If it like seals the end, it'll just be like sucked onto it.
Sorry, what was that again?
The giant cookbook.
Oh god, you do have the giant cookbook.
I mean, actually, you can just make a smaller hole than the thing, can't you?
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing.
Yeah,
if it's bigger than the hole, just put it over the hole.
Yeah,
The shot might be good because it's round. I can make like a round indentation it would go sit in.
I guess the...
Make a what?
Like if I made like a little... If the end of it was like a semicircle, so that that is slightly bigger than the hole, if we put a ball in it, it'll sit in it really nicely and it won't just get distorted or pulled by the force.
True. That might be a good idea. Yeah, maybe that one.
So like a little egg cup for it, but with a hole in the bottom.
Yes.
That the air's going through.
Alright. You take the largest blunderbuss shot you have, and you kind of measure out and plan your egg cup.
But like on the end of a funnel.
Yeah.
Like a funnel, and it's just going to come up out of the stone and be part of the base, but then protrude out.
All right. And I'm going to say you do this, as before. You visualize it, and then chant with friends' assistance. You reshape a bit of the platform, which seems to almost instantly mold up, form into this egg cup shaped funnel, which peaks at the end, and immediately a roar of wind that begins sailing out through it.
All right, everybody, hold on.
Yep.
And you begin moving towards the distant light at a much faster clip
So much faster
than you were before.
Hey, we're at full sail.
You could have made it bigger, but I will say that after... Okay, we're lucky. That it ends up only taking you an additional 2 hours.
Wow,
to cross.
that's a lot more.
not bad.
Frankly, astonishing distance. It's fortunate that this is the size that you're the scale here is not as is vast, but not so vast that it might take as long as some things do. But
I get bored and
equally,
lead some shanties.
Excellent.
but it does occur to you that slug shot that shot that you threw out never stopped moving. So maybe all the wind that's going out is just actually giving you continuous acceleration.
Yeah,
You're actually getting faster and faster as you move towards.
How do we stop?
At some point, I'm going to
knows.
stop it. I'm going to close the thing and then go. So we're just getting faster and faster. Should we maybe put some in the other direction to slow us back down?
Otherwise, we are just going to crash into that eventually, aren't we?
Yeah.
Or go straight past it, either way.
Yeah, which we don't want. All right. Yeah,
It's quite embarrassing, I feel, yeah.
All right, with now you create a second one, plug it, which starts shooting you the other direction. You plug it with the blunderbuss shot, carefully remove the other blend force. Well, it doesn't shoot you in the direction, it starts slowing you down.
Yeah.
And then I will say, to cut the long story short, after 3 hours, but no longer like careening past it.
Yeah, a little bit out this side, a little bit out that side.
You managed to achieve not only a fast clip, but a controlled deceleration as you approach the source of the light. And we're going to pick up there after...
Such dicks, Cherry. How did that take so long, eh?
After these, no doubt important, messages.
Alright, so this one's just going to be very simple. You've got to get from here, the starting point, to here, the ending point. We have up, down, left, right, side to side, all 3 dimensions, nice and easy. There's just so many obvious ways of doing this, we're not going to give any hints. What's that? Oh, gravity schmavity, we'll stick it in here and there. It's not like they're going to be using much of it. Oh, alright, but I draw the line at sunscreen.
And welcome back. You careen forward through the void, and just for the sake of doing it, can I ask Corzin and Celestia to roll a luck check, please?
Yep.
Dear.
17.
Oh, 19.
Okay, Corzin's less lucky. Corzin.
Unusual.
You're all pretty securely tied to each other to prevent anything too untoward happening.
Mm-hmm.
But in the course of things, you do kind of there is a little bit of jostling and moving, especially as you're kind of going to especially at the changeover point about halfway through, where you're taking, you're stoppering one of these little funnels and opening up the other, and in the course of pulling the stopper out of the deceleration funnel, say Corzin, you're the one doing this. You kind of stagger back and you accidentally stumble against Scamp, just lightly, but enough that I'm going to say, your cheek brushes against their hand.
Oh, sorry about that.
You start to say. At which point, that tide effect, the wild magic effect, kicks in. Because I wanted
I've forgotten about that.
Because I realised that needs to discharge. So, can both of you now roll me a luck check, please?
Sure. 7.
Natural 20.
Because it's not necessarily
not
lucky, but it's rather a question of scale. So, God, Scamp, you turn into an elephant. You just full on, like you've been polymorphed. Golden light appears around you, and you transform into an elephant. It's a small enough elephant that you're not thrown off the dais or anything, but it does dislodge everyone. Corzin, you similarly are wrapped in golden light for a moment and feel yourself compressed down to the size of a mouse. And at this point, just roll a d20, please. For, I guess, you know what? Add your proficiency bonus, but
okay.
For athletics, but not your strength.
Athletics, okay.
Yeah, because you have no strength.
Right. Oh yeah. That's a 17 still.
Okay, you bite. You turn into a mouse and desperately bite down on the bit of rope that was anchoring you, and manage to hold in place and are not sucked out the tiny funnel.
It would be so awful, but it's just so funny that I can't not laugh.
After 2 minutes of frenzied panic, both of you...
I will grab the little mouse Corzin with my trunk.
Yeah, you grab the little mouse Corzin and hold her in place, and after 2 minutes...
Does the little mouse have little tricorn?
No, just a mouse. But it's causing.
Well, I'm drawing it with a little triangle. You can't stop me.
But its fur is causing color.
boots.
Causing hair color. Like,
Excellent.
Sort of sandy blonde, I think.
Covered in eyes.
Yeah, sandy blonde.
Covered in and yes, covered in tiny like patches of fur shaped like eyes, like like the eye tattoo.
I don't know why I'm finding this quite as funny as I am, but I feel absolutely manic.
It is really funny.
Oh yeah.
Many mouse eyes.
After 2 minutes, however, both of you become like splinter down the sides with with little lines of golden light, and then collapse back into your normal selves.
Oh, it's everything today.
Is it just because there's nothing interesting happening in here? You're just bored?
I didn't do that on purpose. Well,
Roll 2d100.
No, I don't
I'm not saying you did it on purpose. I'm just saying I think it's worse when you're bored.
It's a 65 and a 50.
Okay. There are two futures. One is disconcertingly clean, and one is kind of unpleasantly scented.
I mean, it's not going to be clean.
Okay. Scamp, you smell burnt toast. Everyone else, you also smell burnt toast. Scamp just
So
stops.
what kind of wild magic effect is this if they're having a fucking stroke? Jesus. God.
Scamp weirdly smells of burnt toast for 1 hour. So it does wear off by the time that you reach the end of this journey. But
Alright, Scamp, I'm sure given everything that's just happened, you'll understand why I'm asking you this, but have you just, subtly transformed yourself into bread?
Or are you a little
I
bit
bite
on
my
fire,
hand.
but
Do I taste
pretending
of
you
bread?
aren't?
Do I taste of bread? And do I taste of fire?
licking your arm, you do have a slightly burnt wheaty taste to you.
I appear to be made of burnt toast. Jeffrey, no.
Well, I'm not going to ask how long this is going to last, because...
Come to think of it, Scamp's skin is it's still pink, but there's a weird texture to
I'm
it.
gonna poke him. Give him a poke.
With what? Your finger?
Yes.
They kind of feel like burnt toast.
I actually think you might be made of burnt toast.
It is taking so much self-control not to try and eat myself.
Jeffrey gives you a little experimental nibble, and you feel his teeth. It hurts a bit.
Jeffrey. I said no.
Well, I suppose we just better be thankful we don't have any butter in our packs.
How is today this weird? There's nothing in here. I gesture at the void. How have we made it this weird? There is nothing here. This is entirely on us.
Celestia, this is weird even by our standards, you have to admit.
I'm so tired. We've been in this stupid sorcerer land for so long. My weird threshold is a dot in the distance that I haven't seen in a very long time at this point. And
Are we about to meet the big main, center sorcerer? This is the impression we're making.
You're made of
I'm
toast.
worried.
Great.
Over the course of the next hour, your skin kind of feels dry and crispy. You have this weird sense that you want to moisturize, but with marmalade or something. But after about an hour, it fades, and your skin texture returns to that of skin. And not long after that, as the air is continuing to pump out, you get closer and closer, and the light becomes on the cusp of blinding. You get the feeling
Sunglasses down.
Yeah, sunglasses are down. Corzin, actually, because of your specific situation, con save, please.
Yep, fair. 17.
It's hard. You get the feeling that you would be much more comfortable if you took the belt off temporarily. But you are able to kind of still, like, through, like, you kind of close and squint your natural eyes.
Yeah, I mean, according to the write-up for the Belt of Eyes, if this is the equivalent of a daylight spell,
yeah,
then the DC is 15, so I'm okay,
so
but
okay.
like just uncomfortable.
Yeah. So it's uncomfortable as glares go, but you manage. And there is this fierce golden glare now. You realise as you get closer and closer to this, to what you can now faintly make out is a distant figure sat cross-legged in the middle. They are surrounded by a flaring, glowing aura that seems to encircle them like a star.
Shall I just send them a message? Should be close enough now, right?
Not a bad
Worth a try.
idea.
As you are starting to get to approach that, however, at that point, you realise that, you know, even with the air shooting out, you're still, like, going at a fair clip. There's a risk that you might still slightly overshoot. But whatever you're doing, this seems to be enough, because the distant figure, you notice, tilts their head a moment and rotates around in place, like, still sat cross-legged, but, like, shifting a little, and moving their body, and then the rest of them swiveling round to face you. And you see a humanoid figure, looking almost like that of honestly, more resemblant to anything else of a hobgoblin than, say, an elf or a human, but with skin which is currently flaring with golden light, wearing with some sort of clothing on that you can't really see through the glare, but you do see the outline of their head tilt to the side in confusion. They raise a hand, and arcs of light seem to curl out of the globe surrounding them and wrap around the dome, catching and slowing it. And as the at this point, Victory gets the plug and sticks it into the little forwards funnel. As the domes, as the day sort of slows down, and the blazing radiance of this figure lessens as well. It recedes down to to still, like, brightly lit all around you, but her skin stops being an incandescent golden white glow and fades to a shimmering underlit blue. She's still casting light from her every pore, but the tone of the light changes, the feel of it, like the literal colour, hue, but also it goes from being blazing and searing to not cooling, but calming, almost soothing. You feel like you're basking in her light rather than being scorched by it.
Like sun to moon?
Yeah. And now you can see the figure within, with shimmering blue skin, curled white hair, and still glowing golden eyes. You can now see that you can now perceive she is dressed in a tunic of soft white silk in an ancient, gigantic step fashion, and wearing sandals. She's also easily at least 50 feet tall.
Oh, wow.
But she brings you forward to a point where you could almost believe that she was of a size with you, just by virtue of distance and perspective. And though her voice cuts through the void, and actually you almost feel the air shift a little around you, as if whatever air there is here, the bubble of it is being expanded out to include the dais. Like there is sound can travel between you. Hello.
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 I say this gentle. The voice is gentle, but there is like a slightly booming quality to it. I was not expecting visitors.
Oh. Do you not get many?
Usually, and her eyes. She frowns a little and focuses on each of you in turn, pausing for a moment on Scamp and Victory. Usually, your echoes pass on that I prefer not to be disturbed.
Oh, we've not found ours. I think we might have broken the system.
But you are... She smiles a little. That is very interesting. Please, you are injured. She raises her hands and there's like a slight shift in the blue radiance coming from her. And Scamp, you were charred to shit earlier. Celestia, you saw burns. You feel your burns soothe. And in the case of Scamp, you see Scamp's flesh seem to just, where it's been burnt, which was like weirdly combining with the burnt toast experience earlier, heal in seconds before your eyes.
Do we all heal?
You all heal enough that, and you see Victory sort of winces for a moment and like raises a hand to her eye, to her eye patch. The giant figure pauses. You will require more focus, but allow me to heal your superficial injuries. I am Thea, the Radiant.
Nice to meet you.
Hello. Thank you for the healing.
I'm Scamp the... Well,
Yeah, much appreciated.
Celestia Stardust, nice to meet you.
Victory Kotzel.
Corzin Horhace.
Chanterelle du Champagne the Third. The
Celestia bursts out laughing and tries to pretend she isn't.
Thea also bursts into a sort of light musical laugh.
Obsessed with that, babe.
You must have travelled through each of the wings.
Yeah.
We have.
Mm-hmm.
And you have not encountered an echo of yourself. Have you met echoes in every wing?
Yeah. Some of them said we were like a rhyme. Like similar but not the same.
her eyes focus, and for a moment the golden glow becomes a piercing white, very much almost like a laser beam that outlines Scamp and Victory. You feel...
Do they look like they're being hurt?
Victory certainly looks like she's unsettled. Scamp, you have this horrible, this bizarre experience of someone looking through you. Like they can see through your bones. The laser beam focus fades after a few seconds. And she adjusts, she tilts her hand a little, and you feel the warm, soothing light go over you. And have a strange sensation that some sort of terrible disease you might have contracted has just been healed.
Radiation sickness.
What was that?
Radiation sickness.
Oh, yeah.
We got irradiated and then sorted.
Yeah.
You don't understand what that was, but you have this strange...
It felt bad.
Yeah. This strange sensation that you've just been healed in a way that you didn't realise you were damaged.
Yeah.
How strange. You are indeed of kith and to my siblings and I. But you are not one of my siblings. Either of you.
Ugh.
What does that mean then? What does that...
It means that you are new. You are impossible.
Oh, I was going to say, has that ever happened before? Or did you all get made at the same... Did you, the first ones all happen at the same time?
I think perhaps it is time for some answers. Ask me
welcome.
questions. The pair of you are of kin and kith to me, and it seems you trust your friends. I see no chains around your minds. It seems you are boon companions. Trusted and true?
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Family.
Yeah, if that's what that means, then yes.
Then, if you wish it, I will answer their questions to the best of my ability. Yeah, I wish that.
Yeah.
That sounds great.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, please, answers, please, make sense.
Because between us, sometimes we're smart, but, let's not rely on one person to be smart.
First of all, then, welcome to the Cirrus Citadel. The heart of it. I do not know how you came to be, but you are sorcerers, and you are welcome. And you have reached me, and there will be a boon for you. But that can wait. Ask me any questions, and if it is within my power to answer them, I will.
Kind of look at Scamp, honestly, to start.
Yeah.
Where did the first sorcerers come from?
Would you like the short version first, or the long version?
Oh, I want to say both simultaneously, but that's not a possible thing, so let's not do that. I guess do the short version first, and then if it's not answering the question, I'd like the long version.
We were carved from the corpse of the god that created all giants. I told you it was a short version.
I like it.
I want the long
what's
version.
What's that mean? Yeah, now I want the long version, but I'm glad we did it this way round.
Long ago. And I must preface this. I was not here for several key parts of this, for reasons that are about to become clear. So, this that I know second-hand. This is what was told to me. Say then that you should trust this as much as I would trust the word of those who made me. Long ago, I believe, at this point, millennia ago, in the days of the eldest gods, my people, the 3-in-1 people, what we would say, and she says, it translates automatically, but Corzin, you recognize this as the giant word for goblins.
Right, yeah.
My people, the 3-in-1 people, goblins, we had one god who, like us, was 3-in-1. And she tried to remake her people, to elevate us. And she failed. I was taught that she betrayed us, and that justified what came next. But in truth, I think she simply failed and left us scarred. For you see, she tried to create from goblins giants. Giants such as I, who would live not unto immortality, but countless centuries, with grace and strength and will. And for but a small fraction of us, she succeeded. However, the majority were not so successful. A fraction became what would now later be classed as storm and cloud. Others fell short of that goal. Fire that would be their nature, or frost, or built of stone. And still further, those of crude flesh, amongst those who might later live amongst the hills, those with only fragments of our gifts, like the troll kind, twisted and misshapen, but with a shade of this boundless life that she sought to grant us. Ogres, and then at the bottom of this cast of chances, the wretched Etin Cyclops, those who were multitudinous in form, but all broken or misshapen in some way, even further from the goal. But all of us, even those such as I, who were made perfectly, share one flaw. Do you know the flaw of giants?
It's hunger, isn't it?
Hunger.
Is that? Yeah. Yeah, I remember the thing.
We are long of life, great of strength, and we have a hunger that can overwhelm us. They told me that what followed the grand experiment was a period of such madness, death, and carnage that has never been seen before or since. Our, as they said to me, golden, perfect society crumbled, and we began to devour everyone and everything.
Shit.
We restored order at cost, though it was necessary that those who could not rein in their appetites, master their natures, were put to death. The weak were put to work to feed the strong, and our new society was one founded on order. Harsh, yes, even cruel, but functional. We survived. We even began to thrive. But we were scarred, filled with rage and resentment of such a level that we found the means to kill our own god and carved her into 12 pieces. And, by the way, no, I don't know what that means was. It turns out if you have the methods to kill a god, you take that information to your grave.
That seems pretty
You were
reasonable.
carved from I bet the Shaper of the World was carved from the arsehole.
Surely.
You have met my sister, then. Well, as you say, or her echoes, at least.
Yeah. Dickhead sister sympathies.
She shrugs non-committally. My siblings are my siblings, for all their glories and their flaws. One thing that my people understood, and well, was that magic has power over flesh, spirit over magic, and flesh over spirit. I am simplifying here, but we knew enough to know to bind the pieces of our God into flesh, to control them and not to lose them. 12 babes yet unborn were chosen, one from each of the castes of giants and one from each of our original people. And that is how we came to be.
Wow.
So
That's... Wow.
I do not know how you were created, but perhaps that may shed some light upon the matter.
I think in the same way, but a different god.
Yeah, by inverted commas, your dad was a god, right?
Yeah, says Victory, wincing.
And like carved himself up to protect it. Or something, yeah.
Shit. That's kind of a lot.
But it's a different god to the one that you were all made from.
I do not know how we were cut, so to speak, except that whatever means was used, it seems was found again.
Yeah. Does that mean it could happen again?
I think the fact that it has not happened in thousands of years suggests that it is not easy. Whatever that means was.
Oh, Vasilisa's got some fucking questions to answer, hasn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of questions.
Oh, she better start fucking talking when we get back.
You hear a friend comment, I'm afraid that none of us remember what that means was.
Yeah, no, I figured.
Assume not.
I figured you'd have told us if you knew.
If you have more questions, please.
I feel like I must have loads.
So many, but I don't know what they are. Does this mean we don't get a wing?
She
Do
loves
we have to
it.
go and make our own citadel?
No. I stole the citadel for sorcerers, and there exists enough space left to steal that I may fold a part away for each of you. And as your boon, I will teach you how to control it, to make it listen to you. It will
That's
not.
good, because I'm not getting things that listening to me. Jeffrey never listens to me. do you, Jeffrey?
It will not be quick. It will take weeks, if not months, to learn. But whenever you return here, you will have the power to open the door directly to your wing.
I have a question that I literally can't stop myself asking, even though it's not remotely sensible.
Do it.
Do they get dumb sorcerer names like all of you have?
I was going to say, do we get to pick our own?
Did you pick your own, or did somebody give you all your dumb sorcerer names?
She frowns a little.
Like the Radiant, or the Dusk, or the Shaper of Wheel, or did you name yourselves?
We were named by those who made us.
Right.
You may choose your own.
Victory, what are you going to be? Because every reincarnation or whatever down the lines is going to have this name.
Fuck, I don't know. I'm like... I'm barely 14 at this point. I think I might actually now be after that month that we spent in a room. And
I mean, I don't feel like you have to decide this second.
No, it's
yeah,
probably something you want to give some serious thought to.
yeah, can I think about that a bit? Yes.
I've got so many ideas and all of them are bad. And about 90% of them involve bombs.
You are fortunate. I am the last of us that can shape space. And I can.
Is that how this
create
came
your
about?
wing.
Were there more who could?
Once all of us could.
What happened?
This story I can tell you from first hand.
Yeah, because you all started in the same place, right?
Yes, we were born in the palaces of the old empire and raised to serve our people, to serve giant kind. And serve them we did. We grew in strength and wisdom and power. And we, each of us, inherited a fragment of the three-in-one goddess of Emruki, mistress of word and will. a different aspect. I, light, and flesh. Another memory in time, and others still, other aspects. You have met them all. Each of us had certain powers in common, but our own flavor of magic. And we wrought such miracles for our people out of love and loyalty, as we saw it, both to build our cities high and in service of their war. And then we began to die. And it was terrible. So terrible. Wailing and gnashing of teeth. They used us with greater care after the first of us died in battle. In time, others began to die of age, or accident, or, yes, battle still. And then we discovered that my siblings were not gone. When ordinary goblins, or humans, or halflings began to appear, wielding the powers of my lost siblings.
But the giants didn't like that.
They did not. They liked it least when an elf in service to one of the great enemies was born with our powers. And such power it was. So they told me, the one who could shape flesh and light, as my sister could shape will. Change them. Make it so they can only be reborn as giants once more. And I told them truthfully that I could not. And again then they asked me, if you cannot make it so that they cannot be reborn, can only be reborn as giants, destroy them. Shatter their souls so they can never be reborn at all. And I said too, this I cannot do, though that was a lie. But they grew dangerous, impatient, and I realized then that my time in their grace was limited only to the span of my life and the time in which I was useful to them. So to preserve my kin, for there is nothing a sorcerer may do that the wise may not figure out how to do themselves in time. And I knew that if they sought it, they would learn the way to destroy us, to prevent us from being born again. I gave them an alternative. I said I could not destroy their souls, but I could seal off one of their powers forever. The most dangerous power. The power to shape space and distance, to bring there to here, and fold a world away into a hidden space.
Oh, bugger.
An odd response. Why do you say that?
Because we're made from a different god, so you didn't seal that off from us?
Then, can you do this? Are you able
Yeah.
to bend space?
I mean, I can just pop over all over the place. And I mean, this bag here that Victory showed me how to make, it's got loads of space inside it.
Her eyes focus on the bag for a moment. It glimmers with light, and the eyes widen. Then you possess a forbidden power, one sealed away for the sake of the world.
Whoops.
Yes, I suppose I'll have to kill you now. I am joking. Oh, I left
it
my...
wouldn't work anyway, because I showed it to Wisdom, and,
Oh,
it's out.
oh my.
Yeah, no, it's out now.
The
Did you
wise
destroy the
know
world?
this.
Yeah.
I suppose the giants were really pissed off.
What do I care? I fled them.
Yeah, you did. Whoops.
I could not heal the damage I wrought. What I change remains changed. If I am not healing, but shaping, I cannot undo what was done. I cursed and blunted my siblings to save them. And I stayed alive. I stayed alive, and as their number dwindled, the ones who made me could not help but rely on me, could not help but trust me, for they never unlocked the secret of folding space. I took care never to let them see me do it after a time, to hide the method so they could never quite discover it, try as they might. Until I was the only one left. And when the time was right, I stole one of their hidden worlds. I stole their greatest city and made it a sanctuary for my siblings, reborn again and again through time.
How did you lead them here in the first place? If they kept being reborn, I mean, how did they find it the first time? Because there must have been a first time that they came here, right?
There was. I made before I stole the Citadel, I made contact with those of my siblings who were reborn and alive, those I could find. I smuggled as many of them here as I could when I stole the city. And they created the first echoes in the wings that I shaped for them to pass the message on. And in time they left clues, hints, indications of how to reach the one place where this hidden world is still anchored to Calcinea. But when I was gone, well, I don't truly know what happened, but I'm fairly confident that my kin, my creators, could make no more places such as this.
I mean, to be fair, that doesn't seem to be a commonplace thing these days.
Yeah.
I certainly hadn't heard of it.
Out, did they? Huh.
So is your only contact with the outside world when another one of you passes through here?
In essence, yes.
And when was the last time another one of you did?
What do you mean by another one of me?
One of your siblings. Is that right?
An echo. Yes. If you are an echo in the same way that all of the others were.
I am not an echo.
No, you're not. You're alive, aren't you?
She grins.
Oh.
You're still here.
My nature was ever life and light.
Do you get lonely? Or bored?
Yeah, do you want me to bring you some books or like a sandwich? I've offered to some of the
Her
others.
lip curls upwards in a smile and she reaches up with one hand. There is a place where my siblings may not tread. When you make your wings, you will learn how to fold parts of them, to hide them, to seal them away so that only you may unlock them. It is the case in every other wing, and the echoes control access to those hidden portions, for whatever means they deem as best. I told you I stole a city, and she gestures with one hand like brushing aside a curtain, and for a moment the sheer void parts, and you get a glimpse of a beautiful sunlit valley bordered with terraced gardens and ancient gigantic style architecture, and you see throngs of people of all different shapes and sizes living their lives. And she gestures, and the void closes over. I care for them, for they are mine.
Are they the people who were like in the city when you stole it? Or at least like their descendants?
They're long descendants. It has been some, she thinks, close to 7,000 years.
Oof.
Wow.
And even such giants as I would not normally live so long.
How are you doing it, then?
Is this... yeah.
If
Some
you don't...
people, like, sort of mentioned that sorcerers can do this. What is... Is this a sorcerer thing?
It is easiest for me, but I was the first to do it. There is a way to turn your power inwards, to heal the flesh that shapes your spirit, to remain forever vital and youthful. It is harder for others, for their nature is not life as mine is. and for them there is more of a cost. I do not wield the absolute fullness of my power, for some of it must be spent on remaking and repairing myself. So too it would be for any of my siblings who felt it was necessary to stay alive longer and longer. The greatest strengths would be sealed from them. They would be unable to use them without allowing, as it were, the clock to tick forward.
I wonder if that's what the Drow Empress is doing.
Yeah, gotta
Maybe.
be, isn't it?
Still powerful, but not as powerful as she should be. That would make sense.
It would. Horrible sense.
Yeah.
Well, it would also make sense as to why she presumably organized the society in the way that she has to compensate for that a bit.
She surrounds herself with powerful people who have powers that she can't use.
Yes.
Spirit-sighted people.
Yeah.
Literally, the whole of our society is made with the idea of surrounding her with an army of spirit-sighted people to protect her. If you're sighted, you become a priest. She has a lot of priests. And also, Jason, what's the word for a boy drow that is sighted?
Oh, they go off to become justiciars.
That's the
Yeah.
one. And justiciars, who, as far as I understand it, are fucking terrifying, but you know. Yeah, it's a pretty good system, isn't it?
Have any sorcerers had the sight?
Yeah, is that possible?
Yeah.
None of
Just out
us
of
did.
curiosity.
She looks to Scamp and Victory. Victory shakes her head.
No.
I do not believe so. I do not understand perfectly what the sight is. My creators made much use of those with it, but the way that spirit and soul and flesh interact is not known to me. Suffice to say, flesh and will have power over spirit, and much greater power if you can see what you're doing. That is how I understood the way that spirit shapers worked amongst the society in which I grew up.
That makes a certain sense.
I thought spirit-sighted people didn't work in the society in which you grew up.
I told you, my society had order and a lot of slaves.
Makes sense.
Figures.
It was not
Spirit
considered good
shapers.
fortune to be born with the sight in my society.
What did they do with them?
Doesn't sound like a nice thing.
They trained them to bind and shape spirit according to the means that they devised. You should understand, my people's society was built upon war with gods.
So, short lifespans of spirit crafting until you burned through them, basically. Is that right?
That, I believe, would cover the essentials.
'Cause from what Magnus said, what we learned at Magnus is you don't last long doing that, do you?
One of my duties was to repair them for as long as they could last.
Right. Right.
One of... Yeah, Rhea is the Shaper of Will. This is Thea. One of my sister Rhea's was to repair their minds to keep them functioning.
Ugh.
Really glad there are no more giants anymore.
Are there no more?
Yeah,
No.
not really.
Well, the odd one. And
There's no society.
Not like there
In the
was,
same way.
no.
Civilization's gone, mostly.
good fucking riddance by the sounds of things.
She frowns at that. There's a complex look on her face,
I don't
A bit of-
actually mean that all the way, but ugh, it sounds terrible, is what I mean.
there's a mixture of satisfaction and sadness.
The people may exist somewhere, but the society certainly doesn't anymore.
What about this war then? The war with gods.
I mean,
Is
which
that where all
gods?
the shit with spirit-sided people started? Is that where... What happened?
How far back do you want me to go?
All the way.
If I'm going all the way, again, these are the stories I was taught.
Mm-hmm.
Until a time after we killed our god, I was not around. And a lot of this war I did not see firsthand. My role was support. And for some reason, the ones who created me did not share their utmost state secrets with me,
Shocker.
except as much as I needed to know. It's almost as if they didn't trust someone made from a piece of their dead, murdered god. It's funny, actually.
Yeah.
I never held a grudge about that.
Huh.
Do tales still persist of the first gods, the eldest gods?
Legit, do they?
No! You've never heard of this?
No.
There's pretty much just
There's
one
this
where
other
I'm
god
from.
who
No, there
They
isn't.
kind of go, oh, just this one, and they kind of hide all stories of anything else. So.
Yeah, no. I really don't think there is one god, Corzin. I really just don't think there is.
What I mean is that there's not a an accepted view that there's more than one.
There we go.
Which means there's no stories.
Yeah.
What we call gods is there's plenty of them. It's just that in that place,
I
no
never,
one else
I
calls
mean,
anything
where
else
I'm
a god.
from, I never fucking know if they're gods or if they're just really big spirits, to be honest. I'm
Or
a
if
bit
there's even a
confused what a god
difference at
even
this
is.
point.
There is like a pause from Thea, who elegantly shrugs one shoulder. I'm not a priest,
Neither am I.
but I will tell you the story as I heard it. In the first days, there were 7, the eldest gods, who made their peoples, and ruled the cities of old. Emruki, the mistress of word and will, the 3-in-1, maiden, mother, and crone, goblin, bugbear, and hob. She who had mastery over transition, over the space between spaces, if you wanted to be crude about it, over magic. Of course, very obviously by the time I came around, not really an extant following. There was Murad Din, the Lord of Art and Craft.
Oh, him we've heard of.
Who
the
fathered
dwarves worship him.
Cirsa, mistress of sea and star, who valued cunning and planning over all. Eldrak Shapur, the monarch of sky and flame, they who wrought halflings and humans into the kobolds and the dragonborn, and forged the first dragons of their blood.
What was the name, sorry?
Eldrak Shapur. Eshkirik, the Lady of Leaf and Light, who mothered the elves. Kibir Nagash, Lord of Silver and Shade. And Daru, mother of root and stone, who valued life and might, and who made of goblin stock the lizardkin that in time, at least from what little I have heard of people, from my siblings, would become a people now known as the Yuan-Ti. In the beginning... Sorry.
What was that one? Kabir Nagash?
Kibir Nagash, Lord of Silver and Shade.
Out of character, could we maybe, have these notes at the end? The bits that are not secret.
I will give you...
I can't write all this down, I'm trying and I just can't.
Yeah, it's cool. Let me just check if there's any bits on the bit that I have just said that are secret. I think I'm okay. I'm going to copy this into
even just the names and what they do
copy the
would
names
be so
and
great.
the names and the by names into.
Yeah, I
That would
can't
be
keep up.
Thank you.
At least I'm going to try to. Yep. Apparently my slightly cracked phone screen is.
Blessed are the note takers.
Going to not enjoying that. Okay, here we go. So I'll stick.
For they shall inherit the world building.
Yeah, indeed. I had to go way back to get these names out. Finding the old physical folder.
You. You are great.
There you go. So, continuing onwards. What I just said, I just said Daru.
Yep.
There we go. And I think Scamp was saying a thing.
Yeah, Kabir Nagash. Can we hear some more about that one? Because that name's familiar.
I know only a fragment. I know the tale of... I know some of the tales of how the war went. And it began as I was alive. Well, it began before I was alive. It began with the death of Emruki, our god. I do not know exactly how much time passed between her death and my birth. However, it seems that this provoked a war between the gods. A war out of terror that they could die.
What provoked a war exactly?
Our murdering our god.
Right. Cool.
Makes sense.
Long had they struggled against one another, and at times striven, but this was the first war that shattered the age, so they say, of harmony that existed beforehand. I know that Kibir Nagash made war upon his, the Lord of Silver and Shade, made war upon his sister, Eshkirig, the Lady of Leaf and Light. Or perhaps she made war upon him. I do not know the cause. To be frank, I was raised with a measure of propaganda that the gods were all traitorous and undeserving and needed to die. So, she shrugs again. However, what I do know is that Kibir Nagash won, was the victor, and destroyed his sister and her city. And in that moment, Eshkirig was slain, and the elves were left forevermore, so the saying goes, with no true god.
I knew they were just fucking big spirits. I fucking knew they were just big, powerful spirits! Ah! Ah, that's great. That's... Sorry. Carry on.
You may be right. I am... again, this is all second-hand.
It's just really funny that they're not actually gods. Sorry. It's just I was brought up with like a lifetime of propaganda around the gods and how important they were. Oh. Brilliant. Continue. Apologies.
Again, they're kind of shrugs at this. You can tell, like, you know, she says, I'm glad this revelation brings you some comfort.
Cool.
Nevertheless, at this the gods made war now upon at least two fronts. Against us, against Kibir Nagash, and I never saw the full picture of it. Even when my siblings and I would fight upon the fronts in one capacity or another, we only ever saw fragments of these battles, warring against spirits and those who worshipped them, warring against the gods and their cities, wreaking terrible, terrible destruction, and it being wrought in turn. They fell, the cities and their gods, one by one. Sirsa, Eldrak Shapur, Daru. And in their place the Titans rose, who would later be known as Kraken, Tarask, and Phoenix, or the Serpent of Flame.
They were around when you were around.
Oh, yes. This would be... I was made... By now it would be around 8,500 years ago.
Fuck.
I remained
That's a long time.
A little under a millennium and a half before I stole the city and ran. So I lived through a lot of things. But the War of Gods, in truth, only lasted some 400 years. Kibir Nagash was slain by the Titans. Muradin, the only one to survive, until my people slew him too, the last of the elder gods to die.
And they all did.
That must be why, well, I mean, dwarves live for quite a long time. They've got longer memories.
This I should say. The gods died, the eldest gods died. But, as you have said, there were others that rose in their place, smaller in nature. One legend I heard told was that when they cut up Emruki into 12, 1,000 drops of her blood scattered across Haldanos and rose as new gods.
1,000.
Certainly there were enough cults. And they have power, and had power, to be sure. And we had the time of Cold War.
What does that mean?
With the last of the elder gods dead, we had enemies forever. It was never always an active front, but we had earned forever the enmity of all dwarves.
Yeah.
The elves, gathered together under these new gods that rose and made war against us. And the Titans were forever our foes.
What made them?
Yeah, how did that work?
I do not know. All I know is that they arose amidst the destruction of the gods. This is not. It was not. I did not see it happen, and if my masters knew, they certainly never shared that with me. Again, probably on account of thee being made from a piece of their dead god.
I mean, you seem to imply that they were tied to 3 specific ones. Cirrus, Eldrak, and Daru.
Those were the cities that died and the gods that died as the Titans were born, yes.
I mean, if one could make a sorcerer out of piece of gold, what could one make out of a whole one?
Yeah. Also, this Emruki, you said she was mistress of will and
the mistress of word and will. If you want to oversimplify, her core of nature was learning and magic, which ironically armed her people extremely well for how to make use of her dismembered corpse. There is a reason the wise made their foundations amongst my people. For we always understood best the workings of magic even without sight, much of which they learned from myself and my siblings.
I wonder if there's a kernel of truth in the idea that there was indeed a will that was. Maybe she was it.
I mean, if there were lots of gods at the beginning, there's no reason to believe that one of them was the wheel over any of the rest of them. I mean, I know she's the master of word and wheel and all that stuff, but I don't know. I don't know any more than you do, though. I'm just theorising at this point.
Well, I'm just trying to...
Gash was killed, you said. Do you know how?
No. I understand there was... I know that the legend says Kabir Nagash killed his sister by shattering her city walls and scattering her people, by breaking all that... by breaking her might and showing her to be unworthy. It's very poetic, and I am very much summarizing down what is a 1 hour long epic, which is very strong on the flowery language.
Right.
It mostly,
Thank you.
it's mostly honestly, a lot of it is an analogy for wrath. I would rather... I would love to... I would actually love to regale you, but not right now.
I wonder which one... I wonder what made us and the skulls. Because we came from little silver skulls. One of them's got silver in its name or its description, and just, maybe making leaps here, but...
No, it's a good point, Scamp.
Which god are you from is a very good question.
I'm afraid that is a question I cannot answer. I have been out of the world for 7,000 years.
Yeah.
If you were to encounter a sorcerer or some kind of being that had been created from the remains of a dead god, would you always be able to tell?
I have genuinely never considered this up until about half an hour ago. But
Fair enough.
I was always able to identify my siblings when they were reborn.
Right.
I am as surprised as you are that it also works on these two new sorcerers.
And you were able to tell that they were?
Yes. With all due respect, to my sight, they have souls and you do not.
Huh.
That's weird.
Mm.
I suppose no weirder than living in a world where some people can see things that others can't, but they're all definitely there.
Why do you lot look different to us, then?
In what? I'm literally a giant. I'm
no,
glowing because that's my nature.
You sort of don't count right now in the nicest way possible, because there's a lot going on. It's fabulous, by the way. Yeah. No shade.
It's worth noting that Thea does indeed sort of stand out in the world in the same way as Scamp does. But it was hard to see at first because of all the blinding light.
Passing over all the blinding light and all that stuff. You're clearer than other people. You stand out, all of you.
Because we're like spirits.
You sort of have a glow about you.
Well, you're like part spirit, right?
If I had
we're made of the same sort of stuff, maybe.
If I had to make a guess, and this is a guess, yes, because we are made from pieces of God.
This is where my question comes in, though, right? Because spirits and gods, are they the same? Are they the same thing? Did spirits come before gods or after? Because you talked about a whole thing where they hated spirit-sighted people, but you also talked about a whole god war. Were there already spirits, or did the spirits, are they all bits of God when they died? Help.
I genuinely cannot answer that.
Damn.
This is... The point at which the first god dies is before I am born.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
And... a fair bit before I am born. I don't really know how to put this, but storm giant pregnancies last a long time.
Right. Good to know.
Years.
Shit. I
That
thought
makes
else
sense
having it for a
considering
year
the
was a long
difference of
time.
body time and Corzin is going through this in terms of the biology of massive people.
2 years, but still, there was enough time, and it takes us quite a long time to reach adulthood, and I really need to clarify this. I was made as perfectly as my people were made by our goddess, and my memory still fades over time.
That's fair, but they were like spirits and spirit-sided people when you were
as at the age at which I can remember, this was a thing. Yes,
because you were like healing them when they got all
eventually, yes.
Right.
But the point is that I don't know if there were. I do not know if the little spirits that you speak of were always around, or if they are the 1,000 drops of blood from Mbruki being killed.
There's a theory.
I have genuinely no idea.
As a theory, it's as good as any other right now.
Our attitude towards it was very much, there are people who can see these spirits. These spirits are our enemies, and will seek to destroy us because we are at war with the gods. Therefore, you don't really stop and listen to them. You try and control them or turn them into weapons.
Why did the giants hate them so much? Like, why?
Because she failed, and because we were cursed with a hunger that, if not sated, will drive us into insanity. I need to really clarify this. It takes both great will and fairly constant food for a giant to retain control and be calm and all that we can. When the hunger madness overwhelms us, we will eat anyone and anything.
That might go some way to explaining why there aren't that many left.
I did not live through the time of strife after my people's creation, but I saw giants fall to the hunger madness.
Why would that make them hate spirits? Because they think they were drops of blood of their god, who failed to make them?
The philosophy, in essence.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering.
When we worshipped Mbruki, we believed that she was perfect, that she would elevate us. We believed she was without flaw, and we were wrong. And she had the power to be so wrong in such a catastrophic manner. And all gods had such power. And we swore, those who created me, swore that they would never allow this to happen again. That gods could not be trusted, could not be believed in so blindly. That it was our duty to eradicate them.
And therefore, drops of blood or things connected to them or things made of them, spirits.
Also, this view was very public and very clear, and therefore provided something of an incentive for the gods and all their worshippers to want us gone. What with the whole philosophical, we are committed to wiping you out.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll do it.
It's sort of a total war situation, if you will.
Yeah, I see that. Yeah. Giants sound awful.
We had our good points. The best of us ruled wisely and well and cared for our people. And the worst of us were monsters.
Did the best of you care for any other people?
I put it this way to you. Are there, in the times in which you live, are there still monarchs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kings and queens and the like?
Yeah. More less, though. But,
What is the duty of a queen?
depends who you ask.
A lot of waving, asking what people do, and then not
The duty
understanding
of a
when they're
queen
told.
is to protect and provide, to safeguard her people, and to ensure that they live safely and well. And that is her duty to her people, first and foremost. And if she must make a decision to choose between them and others, her duty is to look for her people first. That is what it is to rule and to be responsible for people.
I suppose it depends who else you consider yours, but not in the way that you have to look after them, because got a lot of that from looking at giant history, haven't we? There'd be other people in the cities that were theirs but weren't looked after.
She shrugs.
That were just theirs. Very drow of them, actually.
Who?
My lot, I gesture it.
Oh,
Hang on, I don't like a normal one. I do like a
little static
little
image.
static illusion of, I don't know, like, I just do one on the palm of my hand of like,
Just a regular old
yeah,
strap.
like a couple of miscellaneous drow but small. Like me but without all the...
Ah, the northern... yes, one of the peoples of elves.
Yep.
She doesn't seem terribly either encouraging or defensive. She just sort of says, "You asked of my people. I told you the best and the worst. And with due respect, I do not invite you to come to my domain and judge how I rule.
You didn't need to. And I'm not judging you, necessarily. You seem alright, actually.
But I would say the best of us upheld those ideals. And others did not. I'm not going to speak in glowing terms of my whole society, given how it treated me,
I would have been surprised, to be honest.
but there were parts of it that were worthwhile, and I tried to preserve that.
That's fair.
Like almost any society, I suppose, it's a mixed bag.
No, you're right. I wasn't there. I'm just not feeling particularly charitable after recent events.
Well,
But it's none of my fucking business when it comes down to it.
indeed. So, have you any
they've all
final
gone.
questions? Any further questions?
I've got probably so many. I can't think of them though. I know I've got loads of things I should know and ask.
Well,
will there ever be a time that these two could come back and ask?
Yeah.
of course. You are able to fold space, yes?
Yeah.
She gestures at the platform in front of her, the separate one to the one that you're holding, that you're on, and a tiny pair of chips of stone flick off it and fly up and hover in front of you and Victory. Scamp. Victory pulls it out of the air. This next time you may skip the long journey.
Thank you. That'll make it a lot easier.
Furthermore, as promised, I will create for the pair of you wings of the Citadel and teach you in time how to shape them. And some of the secrets and skills that you must know, such as how to create echoes. And that will include some warnings. These wings will be attuned to your natures. You will be able to shape them in a way that will seem almost all-powerful. You will be able to make multiple echoes if you so choose. In Calcinea, your power to use such powers is possible, but the world will strain against you in a different way. You would find it hard to create more than a single echo. And if you should try and reshape the world to your will in the same way, it may be possible, but there is a chance it could burn that power out of you. I don't know if it would be forever, but certainly within the life you are living now.
Because sometimes, I want the world to be different, or just in a little way, and it is, because I wanted it. At first I thought it was just coincidence, but no, it is the thing I'm doing. Is that what you're talking about, or on a bigger scale?
Interesting. I do not know. Perhaps we shall find out.
Oh dear.
You are welcome to return to the Citadel any time, so long as you can reach the entrance. I will ensure that the door will open directly to your wing, if you so will it. Speaking of which, she gestures, and the golden gateway leading back to the vampire dust caves flares with light, and suddenly you see it open upon the bridge of light leading out into the apparent cloudscape that was at the very entrance to the Citadel. Still within the hidden world, but leading back to the sort of secret entryway on the mountainside.
Back to that door I looked. Doesn't narrow it down much, does it?
No, it really doesn't, darling, if I'm honest.
Maybe that's what I'll be, the licker of things.
You can't be the licker of things.
Actually, that's a point of a
Can
question I
if I
should
want.
ask. Does time pass differently while we're in here?
Only within the Reaper of Time's domain.
Okay, that's kind of nice. I mean, we still don't know how long the Shaper of Will had us. But yeah, that's kind of nice.
That rules out some of the more extreme and bad possibilities I was worried about.
Time is... She trails off and just stares into the middle distance for a moment. Kronos is the brother I least understand.
Complicated doesn't even begin to explain it.
Yeah. Oof.
I once asked him, and he did say, "No, you can't go back, that's impossible." And I said, "We see impossible things all the time." And he said, "No, it's draw a square circle impossible." It was one of the first things I thought of back when we were both in our first lives. She sat a moment, then shrugs. So I figured you might have thought of it.
Of course.
I have a question for you. Now that you know, in a sense, your heritage and what it is and is not, now that you have found the Citadel and seen what you can be, what will you do? How will you live?
I'd like to find some of the others. If it's possible.
They may not want to be found. In that I will offer...
Yeah.
I will offer you no aid. For many of my siblings have tried to kill each other.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. But I didn't realise that there were so many sorcerers all at once.
Until now, only ever 12.
But that's still so many more than I thought. Previously.
Looks like there's 14 at least now.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I'm making too many leaps here, but is there a reason there couldn't be more?
Clearly not.
It happened once, it could happen again.
We know a bunch of gods died, we didn't know what happens to their bodies, do we?
If we cut the Kraken up into lots of tiny pieces, could we make sorcerers?
By the sounds of it, it needs to be a specific process.
Yeah, I mean, we don't know it. That might be a big leap, but I thought of it, so I said it.
No, it's worth it's worth asking that question, and I think the only person who can even shed any light on that right now is Vasilisa.
Do we know that Vasilisa actually was involved in it, or did she just use something that already had been made?
How do you mean?
Because, well, the skulls, we don't... They were split up to protect the parts of the thing because they were worried about losing the whole of the god. Was that done thousands of years ago and she just found out that it was done and found them and used them?
Yeah, she just picked them up and figured out what they were.
Because she went to
the city of all the dead with the door that we don't open.
There's types of magic, isn't there, that allow you to discern the entire history of a thing. You can do something like that, Scamp. Is it possible she could do the same thing with these skulls?
I can't do that.
Oh, what you're thinking of might be that I could do it for a bit with the eye. But that's not a thing anymore.
No, obviously not.
Yeah, you could base it... Because, Scamp was saying when we were stuck in that room for a month that, we can get... Scamp gets, little flashes about an object when trying to identify it, but you could do a thing where you just, saw its past.
Yeah, I could, ask a question,
Yeah.
then I'd pop in and get a vision.
Well, she has
And
the power
she
to
found
do
one
that.
of them in... we know that she was in the city, which is that used to belong to a god that died.
Being a gash. Yeah.
Yeah. The god is silver.
Yep. That would make
We
sense.
might be giving her too much credit. She's smart and she's done a big thing, but it doesn't mean that she could do it again or has the knowledge of how it was done in the first place.
I'd still like to hear what she fucking did.
Oh, yeah, no, I want to know. Very much I want to know.
If she's a tall KG after this, I'll murder her, to be honest. So, yeah.
Mum did say just before we left that she was going to answer, that she was just going to talk and lay it all out.
Good.
We need that information.
And, I love my mum, and she is brilliant, but we're pirates, and she is a thief.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I reckon she probably, she's probably smart for figuring out however she made us, but probably didn't, invent it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think someone probably carved up a god, and rather than putting it into some unborn children, they put them in the skulls, and she just worked out how to move it from one to t'other.
At this point, friend points from one of the skulls points out, no, she definitely figured out how to divide up us, the parts of Cotzol.
Oh, she did, yeah. We've established that, actually.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
But maybe she didn't invent the sorcerer process. Maybe she found something she could do it with.
That
I get all confused on the time of things.
that
My memory's
rings a bell.
a mess.
Huh?
It rings that something of that rings a bell, but
You're right, though. She did actually notably carve up Cotzol. That did happen.
That's true.
But maybe the skulls are from being a gash.
That would follow.
Yeah.
I wonder whether she made them or not. I don't know.
Because there was that... feels like they were being used for something else first, weren't they?
I
There
don't
was
know.
that place where there was an altar or something at a temple-y bit. I don't remember.
Fair looks on, light blinks. This is all very interesting. At some point, you should tell me all about it.
Oh, well, we'll tell you all about it when we figure it out.
But we will have time. As I say, you may return at any time. One last chance while your companions are here, if you have any burning questions.
Do you think the Titans were made in a similar manner to the way that you were made?
Not a clue. But I will say this. You were talking about cutting up the Kraken, yes?
Yeah.
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 My people warred against the Titans for at the point at which I left, at least 1,000 years. If you go against the Kraken, then you will also fight the Tarask and the Phoenix.
Yeah, those two are done, darling, apparently.
She blinks. I'm sorry?
Notably, the Tarask is no longer...
Oh, the Phoenix
moving.
isn't either.
And yes, the Phoenix is also history.
There's down pieces of the Phoenix, I don't know, feathers maybe, that are about, but they're gone.
Then you may have a chance.
There was a time where, when I told people I was intending to kill the Kraken, they looked at me like like I said I was going to murder the wind.
Or kill a god.
In effect.
And I think, well, we know that can be done, can't it?
Obviously.
Yes, we certainly do.
With the others gone, you may have a chance.
Were their powers linked?
They reinforced one another, you could say.
So it's not like if one dies, the others get the power of that one redistributed.
She shakes her head.
Something.
They would fight. They would sometimes. They would often act independently, but if truly threatened, they would act together. We tried, when I was around, many times to destroy the Titans. And always they would come together. The Kraken was the weakest of the three, but also, in some ways, the most cunning. The one most willing to retreat and flee. And she would lead us into traps. So many traps. But when we had her cornered, the other two would come to support her.
That's bizarre.
The Phoenix had power over life and death.
Makes sense.
Those who died, she could bring back to fight for her. And she had power over... Sorry, actually, my apologies. They, make sure I gender the Phoenix correctly. The Phoenix had power over life and death, and parts of the weather as well. Over air and fire. And they could bring terrible rains of flame if they sought. Or heal. Though their healing was paled in comparison to that of the Tarask, for its power was for it could not only mold earth and shape life and make flesh and root and tree grow, it could heal itself eternally, and those it touched. When we gravely injured the Kraken, the Tarask would heal her. But if the Kraken no longer has access to the Tarask's infinite healing, perhaps she can be killed.
Got a grail.
A what?
Do you know anything about that? The grail. It's this thing that just makes you all unkillable.
So
That sounds like the Tarask.
No.
This is clearly something after my time. The
I
Tarask
wonder
was
if they're
unkillable.
connected.
Maybe.
Like, you've got down left over from the Phoenix. I wonder if there's anything left of the Tarask.
That would
Yeah,
make
if
sense, wouldn't it?
if
I
the
mean,
Phoenix-
it was like a stone.
yeah, like a
Jurassic
red.
World Earth and stuff, I guess it
You said like
sense.
a red jewel or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, like a big bit of red glass, it looked like.
Hmm.
Interesting theory.
Makes sense. If the Kraken has the eyes and the Phoenix the down, that the Tarrasque would have something. I really wish I knew what the actual circumstances of these legendary mythical things that happened thousands of years ago was.
Yeah.
If only there wasn't the massive repository of information that we burnt down.
Oh, you found the archive.
No, we
The
broke
Grand
the
Archive. One of a kind.
Yeah, no, it was on fire when we found it.
Yeah.
It was still under construction when I disappeared. Intended to be a repository of all our greatest knowledge.
Yeah.
Corzin pinches the bridge of his nose.
I remember them talking about building some sort of map there that could track the Titans. One of a kind.
Yeah.
I hate everything.
No, I mean,
Just everything's
that we
awful,
took as accurate a copy of as we possibly can, and now we have a probably as accurate a map of the world as is likely to exist for at least another couple of 100 years.
Including like a whole undiscovered continent on the South Pole and like a much smaller one on the North Pole.
Yep. That's going to have in no way massive historical ramifications, I'm sure. Anyway.
It's kind of a big day, to be honest, isn't it?
Yeah.
Any other questions, folks? I think I'm dry.
I'm sure I've got loads, but it's been a long old trek here. I maybe need to think about it.
Yeah. I mean, at least you can come back.
And you can come too. I'll bring you back anytime if you have questions.
Thank you, Scamp. I appreciate that.
That's kind, if that's allowed, but your space.
You can come to... Yeah, but I'm going to make space for you in my wing. You'll get houses and stuff.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Your space, your rules, I suppose.
Yeah.
Well, you made space for me in your house, Corzin.
Of course.
Be weird not to return the favour.
I give them a hug.
Same.
Yeah, I've already stolen a house for you guys.
Yeah, you did.
Oh, my fucking cat's in it. I have to go and get it. Anyway.
Oh shit, the cat!
Yeah, you might have all forgotten it. I haven't for a second.
No, I've been thinking about just how much coffee that cat's gonna have drunk.
She's gonna be so fat.
Zoomies for days.
Oh fuck, we got a ghost butler!
Yep.
Yep.
I'll be honest, I just sort of forgot, like, I've really just been focusing on surviving for the last, I don't know how long we've been in here. And, wow. Shanty was, sorry, you've got a ghost butler.
Well, yeah,
Long story.
We'll talk about it later, babe. Yeah.
Wait a minute, does that mean I'm finally going to see the actual world?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
And everything
Okay,
it has.
yeah, listen, this whole ancient secrets thing has been great, but I want to see the world.
Yeah.
It would be our pleasure to show it to you.
It'd be our honour.
Anywhere you want to go.
Fair gestures to the gateway. Farewell for now. When you return, your wings will be ready.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
And can we bring other friends here? Because I've got a friend who'd really like to see some of this. I trust her.
Only the pair of you may come and speak to me. I prefer not to speak too often. I have duties of my own. But you have control over the door and your wing. You may bring people into your own wings as you wish. I make no guarantee of their safety or comfort if they walk into the wings of any other sorcerers.
No.
Farewell.
Thank you for everything. Like, going all the way back thousands of years ago. Thank you for this place. And everything you've done for all of us.
You are welcome. And what are eldest sisters for? However you choose to live, live well. And know that in this life or any other, there will always be a place for you here. You turn to the golden archway and step through onto the bridge of light leading out from the city in the clouds. And as you start walking up, and at this point Shanti just fucking breaks into a run up the light bridge until she reaches the sort of translucent kind of doorway at the edge. And as it opens up, she bursts out onto the plateau and the ridge high up in the mountains. The sky is clear. The sun, the real sun, for the first time in her life, is shining. And she takes a deep breath of cold, real mountain air. I'm free. And we're going to pick up with all of the finding out how your cat's doing and going back and all of that next time. Thank you all for playing. Thank you all for listening. And farewell from all of us here at Flintlocks and Fireballs. Fair seas and natural 20s. Your spirit may leapfrog through time, your body changing and your mind. But whether you bring hope or fear, you'll always find safe harbor here.
So gather your muskets, gather your spears, we'll plunder the shores of Calcinea. No kraken, storm or spell we fear, so come and sail with us, my dear.